Big up, and welcome back, my Red family. We are joined by some of my siblings here. Got Scout Slee, we got Brian, we got Lady B in the house, and we hopefully have you as well soon joining us, if not watching us from the replay, but certainly watching us live if you can. Appreciate it. And we will be obviously getting into some of the news today. We had a big announcement yesterday via Fabrizio Romano announcing about the Here We Go for the much anticipated, long drawn out drama of Wirtz. But we're going to dive headfirst into one of the most turbulent and transformative transfer windows in recent Liverpool history. We're going to talk about massive ins, painful outs possibly, and the fan base split between excitement and anxiety. We've already made one key signing official, obviously, with Frimpong. Others teetering on the brink of getting over the line. Meanwhile, some beloved players are possibly packing their bags, and not all of them willingly. Every corner of the squad is being evaluated and reimagined, and in some cases, ripped up. So what's the plan? We're going to unpack that with our panel, and we'll ask you to weigh in on your thoughts as well. I'm going to introduce the lads here and the ladies here as well. Lee, how are you doing?
Good, mate. Excellent.
Good. Brian, how are you?
Recovering.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And Lady B, how are you as well?
Partly recovering. Wish it was the start of the season next week.
Yes, certainly so. I can understand that. I guess I'll ask real quick. Are you guys? Are you international football fans like that? Even though I know everyone becomes an international football fan when World Cup rolls around normally. Maybe even when Euros are around as well. You know, those are two big tournaments. Or CONMEBOL, or maybe for myself, Gold Cup. Hint, Mr. Pulisic. But for are you guys really following? Were you guys really following all the international play, or is this kind of like you kind of go on vacation a little bit and just kind of read the papers? I'll ask Lady B first, actually.
I'll be honest. I only really watch other teams or international teams when we're playing them in some form. So, or when we're going to buy a player. Other than that, I more or less concentrate on Liverpool. So not really 12, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Shout out to Norm. Definitely go check out his channel. If someone can put his channel in the chat, that'd be great, because he put up some videos apparently of his visit to Anfield and his picture next to the trophy. That's always fun. What I'm probably going to do this year is they are going to have a tour of the the channel that does is called Peacock. They're like NBC. They're they do basically the coverage of the Premier League for us over here in the States, and they do a little preseason tour where they go and they have like a big outing. Like last year, I think they were in Nashville. They were the one year that I got to go. They were in LA. It was pretty cool. They're in at the Coliseum, so we went to check that out. But they bring the trophy. They bring it's most likely a replica, obviously, but they bring the trophy. They bring the trophy with them, and you get to take a picture beside it. And the year I went, it had, unfortunately, blue ribbons hanging down the sides. So I'm looking forward to trying to get an opportunity to take a picture next to it with the red ribbons next to it. So we'll see about that. Brian, same question though. Are you I know Ireland has been up and down a little bit for Ireland and their pursuit of playing international with some of their international matches, but Are you more are you an international fan like that, or are you strictly more a club watcher when it comes to football?
Oh no, I watch us, obviously. We'll be on, like, they don't show a lot of other international football, so I watch us when we're on, and then any Euros or World Cup, yeah. That's at this stage now. They're kind of my favorite form of football,
Mm-hmm.
especially the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the least, at least it's so many random. You can't just buy the best players. You get proper story. Tournament football I think is brilliant, especially a lot of the group games and stuff, the Euros, but yeah, especially the World Cup. But yeah, I don't. I don't go out my way to follow any of the other international, like Nations League or friendlies or those kind of stuff. Especially not because there's like 700 different qualifying games on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I keep an eye on who's doing well and who, but like you said, just via the papers, kind of Ali played or Virgil played, just through that.
Okay, all
But
right.
yeah, it's not been a great time watching Ireland. So yeah, that'll be one of the main. Yeah, if Ireland was doing, not I was not say doing well, but say like we were talking about earlier on, back when we were kind of at our peak, 1988, 90, when we're at least kind of competing in tournaments or getting there, then I'd be watching a lot more. But now we're just playing random games against Iceland that don't really matter and stuff. So.
This Nations League thing is an interesting twist too, where they're trying to make these normally friendly games, because normally these would have been friendlies that you probably would have been involving in right at this moment. And now they're trying
that was a big part of it, to get rid of nonsense friendlies.
Yeah. Lee, are you a international devout? Are you 50-50? Are you more club?
No, I used to be not just to watch my own side, to watch England, but to watch everything. Like if the Euros were on, I'd watch every game. If the World Cup was on, I'd watch every game. But now I don't, because I've got older. That's all it is. Like, I want to have a bit of time to something else apart from football. Now I'm a bit older, like. But I used to really get into the internationals. I used to like watching them from around the world as well when you could get them. Because years ago it would just be on TV, internet. But I've always been into watching it. It's just like my appetite for it has diminished a bit, and I'm all focused on Liverpool. I want our players to play internationals, but I worry about them when they go, and don't want them to be injured or overtired and stuff. But I want them to succeed, because players do want to play for their national side. So I never, have anything against our players doing that. I just don't watch them as much now. As I'm saying, I don't watch them as much now because I'm a bit older. Can't devote all my time to football. Used to.
I was wondering. I was wondering. It's an interesting situation here in America, because we have a U.S. team that has had bouts of success, and and it's some of my friends that have played for the national team. That was like a question that they do ask me about, like, what do you think is going, what it take to get people more engaged, or what do you think is to get more involved in supporting not only maybe your club team, but also supporting in some of these national, or maybe supporting the national team the same way that the teams do their club. And like here in America, we have this thing called the Gold Cup, which is basically like it's our continental tournament, it's a big tournament for us. And our players, a good number of our players have taken off for it, are in this Club World Cup. So like your Pulisics and the likes aren't playing in it. And Landon Donovan came out with a pretty fiery, I don't know if you saw the statement, but he came out with a pretty fiery statement about wanting to play for the badge and everything else. And some of the players, I really do see the real involvement or real intensity of it. of believing in that, because I saw Steve Nicol gave his opinion. He was very pro Pulisic not playing in. He's like, he should worry about his career and less about the federation is not going to care two licks. If he gets injured, they'll care. They could care less. If because it'll be no good to them. But if he knows that he needs to take this time off and then get involved once again in with his club team, then he needs to pick and choose his decision. It was a really weird question, a really weird stance to hear. I was surprised to hear Steve Nicol say that, to be honest with you. I don't know, maybe because I thought Scottish football was it's such a big thing to play for the country and represent Scotland and all that. I'm sure it is. I'm not dismissing that, but to hear him say Pulisic should put his career first, technically, quote unquote, over and take some time off and vacation rather than try to help his U.S. men's national team not only win the Gold Cup but also utilize it as an opportunity to bring some solidarity to the team before we host this World Cup. Didn't make sense. I mean, do you think that he's right about saying that? I'll ask. I'll start this time with Brian, and then go Lee, and then Lady B.
Oh well, I'm not really up to date on the ins and outs of it, but
other players are doing that too, though. By the way, some other players are doing that, but it just seems like a good number of U.S. men's national team players are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, Stevie doesn't. Stevie just speaks for Stevie, and like you said, there's a lot of pride in Scotland. He's just with his own opinion, and a lot of these guys from back in the 80s and stuff, like what he's talking about there, and it will be true today if you have bad people in charge, but they always got treated like dog dirt by the federations, and so like that thing about him saying those guys from back in the day, they always got treated like dirt, like basically. So, but yeah, if he's just coming out and saying, yeah, there's always someone that comes out and says someone should give up playing for their national team to prolong their career. But Pulisic has had a lot of injuries, right? I know
he has had a host of injuries. Yeah,
is he fit now?
If you said that, for instance, I don't think if you went up
no,
to Florida,
is he fit now? Is he off the back of a bad injury, or is he?
I don't know if he's off the back of a bad injury or not. I'd have to look, but I'll look it up while we talk. But
he's still with AC Milan, right?
He is with AC Milan, and there are some players that are like some. We got a Musa that's about to get a move to a big club. I just saw recently. Johnny Cardosa is about to get a move, possibly to Atletico Madrid. Really big names, that are getting some moves to some notable clubs. I think Musa's going to possibly to Atletico Madrid, or excuse me, to AC Milan. But and even Matt Turner is even going to get a move, which is kind of wild. The former Arsenal keeper, and he's getting a move to Lille, I think, or something like that.
Okay. There's a lot of players who are in the Premier in France now, because I watched a round of games on telly of the French League, and they're seeing quite a lot of players who are from the Premier League who've gone to play this league in France.
Yeah, it's just I just wonder if you had a quick. I did want to. I know it's not necessarily Liverpool related. We are going to get into all this topics, but it was just something I just saw. I saw Henri talking about it. I do appreciate, I respect Henri. Sometimes Henri kind of takes this I don't know, he kind of takes some stances that I kind of question, but and it's difficult to have conversations with someone that thinks that sometimes looks at the conversation as if they're above you rather than the likes. But all the same, I was just wondering if you guys were following international football now that we're kind of getting, we just got through a couple of, we just got through that national Nations League, tournament. It's a big tournament, something that could have, Yamal possibly solidified himself not being a Ballon d'Or candidate out of it by his performance. Just wondering if you had some opinions on those things. But let's just get into Liverpool talk. That's why you guys are here. Sorry about taking a U.S. men's national team diversion. We'll get back to the main road here. Liverpool kicked the summer off with a bang by triggering Frimpong's £29.5 million release. Clear sign that Arne Slot is not wasting time reshaping the squad. Dutchman fits Slot's vertical, high tempo system. I think a lot of us on the panel possibly also agree that he fits the system to a T, or like a glove, I guess. But that's just a start. Negotiations have started, or as we heard yesterday, we got the here we go on Florian Wirtz, but it's been walked back a little bit by some publications saying that they're still working out some of the finer points. The potential record-breaking deal is north of £100 million plus add-ons. The 21-year-old could become the crown jewel of Liverpool's midfield for the next decade because he's at the age of 22. And I would not sleep on this signing. This was a signing that I thought was a big signing as well. It was. I'm hoping that this player continues to blossom, continues to grow. Considering for a while I thought Peter Luca was going to be that player for us. Possibly there's high promise and a lot of high hopes on that prospect. But now it seems like it's been moved to Armin Pecsi, who's a 20-year-old keeper from Hungary, who is a big investment for us. I know that Kelleher has moved on. Trent Alexander-Arnold apparently is finding out that life isn't exactly so sweet in Madrid, as he has been told he can't drive his car to the compound, I guess, or he's not allowed to drive his car to the practice facilities. And also he is being told that he is going to be wearing number 12. So he is going to be getting out of the top 11 number, apparently. I don't know what 12 is significant for him, but that's what he's apparently going to be doing. I'll ask this. With the acquisition of Wirtz, with this acquisition of Frimpong, with Kirkes, with all these new acquisitions, with more possibly to come, would you not necessarily say that they're there yet? However, would you say that this could be the start of a Liverpool's new Galactico era? Do you think that this could be this, or maybe a golden era might be better put, of football for Liverpool, being that we have an incredible spine of world-class veterans that are on the verge of being given their last tip of the cap for Liverpool, but we have some really incredible players ready to take their place. Do you think of it as maybe, or is that asking too much or risking too much on saying this could be a golden era for Liverpool? I'll ask that of Lee and then return with Lady B and Irish.
No, I don't think it's asking too much. I'm not expecting, the air from them, but I am expecting us to be better next season and even more hard to deal with. And we've seen Slot likes to mess around a bit with his tactics and that. And I'm just looking forward to it. Yeah, I think we can definitely be going. I don't think there's anything wrong in saying it. I'm not going to tempt fate by saying it, I don't think. But I think, if we get the players that we're linked with, and then we can add a couple to that by selling some, I don't see why it can't be the start of something good, as in dominating and maybe winning a few leagues, within a 5 to 10 year period or something, like getting a few more leagues on board before United get any.
Are you a quick follow-up then before I let Lady B answer. Are you with what is being reported Manchester United are doing, are you, I wouldn't say scared, but are you at least intrigued or worried or concerned? That's a better word for it. Are you concerned that Manchester United are going to, snap out of their funk and rejoin in being a real adversary to us? That's to you, Lee.
Let
me ask the question again.
Go on quickly. Yeah.
Okay, I can ask it again. With the way that United are moving now, with they're trying to get Mbeumo, with them bringing in some other players as well, with some of the players that have made some moves, with their team, their loan teams that are returning to Manchester United, and maybe they get a fresh start. With all the acquisitions that Manchester United are trying to put together, and some of these players being some notable players, also Bruno turning down the move to Saudi Arabia and saying he wants to stay with United. Do you have some trepidation, or are you concerned that maybe Manchester United are going to return as a worthy adversary against us?
In the end, probably. It'll come back around again at some point, but it won't be that soon. I think for them, a good season will be 6th, something like that.
Okay.
Next season, because there's going to be other clubs in front of them for the top 4. Actually, it's 5. If it continues to be 5 again, then they might have a chance of getting Champions League. But it's going to take some effort, isn't it? But the fact they haven't got European football is very helpful. They can concentrate on their league. You know what I mean? They can be in the cups, but he'll be concentrating on where they finish in the league next season. He'll be gutted, finishing in this position, and he'll want to put it to rights by climbing as high as he can next season. So I reckon about 5th or 6th for them would be their best effort. I don't know. The rest of the window's still to go, so we've got to see what other additions they make.
Okay.
But I don't think it'll take a while for them to be a serious.
When do you see it happening? Like 5 years, 2 years, this year, 2 years?
No, give him 3 years. Give him 3 years to get it right. Give him another 3 years and see if he gets it.
Will they even have the same coach, you think?
Yeah.
Real quick.
Oh, God knows. We'll see soon, won't we? When this season,
I hope.
He's under pressure, but look, he didn't start last season, did he? Ten Hag started them awfully, after he'd been re-signed. So the guy only come in January. So they need to give him a chance, don't they? Chopping and changing again, will it do them any good? I don't think so. They might as well keep with this guy for a bit, but it'll take them a while to get back to challenging for the major trophies such as the league and the Champions League.
Yeah. Okay. Lady B, do you see this as being a possible golden era for Liverpool? Being City is revamping their team, trying to bringing in, tons, and I mean tons of different players. They just announced 4 new players. I saw that from the Manchester City official Twitter page that they've just announced 4 new names to their roster. United are scrambling. You got Arsenal trying to figure out what they're going to do. You have Spurs even revamping, possibly definitely bringing a new coach and the likes. We saw the middle. Is this a golden age? Do you think that we can make this a golden age, or do you think that there's going to be more that we need to do for the club?
I think sort of everything is circular. Comes back round. We had such a bad time for so many years. I always felt like there was a dark cloud hanging over Anfield. It didn't matter what we did, we couldn't seem to get it right. So, especially in that era when Stevie was trying to get the league and everything. But those days are gone, the dark days. And I think, it's so positive, this Wirtz signing, the fact that we're prepared to put our head above the parapet in front of everybody and say he's the biggest and we're going for him. Or he's the most expensive in Liverpool. In English history, he'll be the most expensive player. So that gives me great confidence, to think, well, there's big plans afoot here, and they're not just they're not playing at it; they're going for it, So yeah, I think it could be the start of a golden era for us. I really think so. We don't operate, as you know, like other clubs where they've got legions of players and that there's they're buying anybody and everybody that they fancy. We've never been that sort of club. We pick carefully, and we also introduce unknowns sometimes and turn them into great players. But I just think that it's a statement of intent that they've gone out and got Wirtz, Frimpong and Kerkers, that they've identified what they needed. They've gone for it, and I don't think it's going to be the end of it yet. I still think we've got other signings to get. So I'm really excited. I just think everything seems to be going our way at the moment, and long live that, because I was making a prediction that United would be bankrupt by this coming Christmas, but I was dreaming at the time.
Yeah. We shared that dream.
Yeah, that was just wishful thinking. But no, I think they're all going to try and strengthen. They're all going to try and do everything. But we've got a real spine of a good team who are used to winning things, and they're all leaders in their own way. So I am very, very hopeful for it. Yeah, I would say definitely.
Okay. How about for you, Brian? Same question.
This is how I think Wirtz is a start point for that. Not an end point. I think he's the kind of guy that he's becomes an attraction to other players. So if you're talking about like, can we get in like a Galacticos kind of a full like a golden era of maybe like 4 or 5 years? Because then you still got to upgrade every year, every 2 years. But I think we need maybe 2 more Florian Wirtzes to be at that level of like just creating kind of like one of the best teams we've ever had. I think you bring in like an Isaac or an Alvarez and one other player, I know, like a Rodrigo or Nico Williams or something like that, then you're looking at it. But I think this is the beginning of, I don't think Wirtz is an end point for us either as a club. I think it's a kind of a statement. It's like, this is the level of player we're going to go for now. So I think someone like him, I think by the end of next summer, yeah, very much so. Right now, though, yeah, like again, Frimpong and Kerkers are great, but it's still a right back and a left back. And we know changes to make up front. Jota, Núñez, Chiesa, Diaz, all under potential moves, all under scrutiny in different ways, fitness, form, whether they fit or not. So you could have 2 more. You could have in that, and then we could be looking at probably one of the most stacked Liverpool teams that you've seen in a very, very long time. But I think Wirtz is the start of this kind of recruitment. I think we can expect to see 1 or 2 more guys at his level come in. Maybe not this summer. Well, almost certainly not this summer with that kind of price tags, but over next year, definitely.
To get the best out of him, we need to.
And my answer on the Man United thing, I think because of the position they're in, they've been forced into making some extremely sensible transfers. And Brian and Buemo and Cunha are very, very sensible transfers for them. They don't have European football.
I guess they won a lot of money though. They do.
They can afford that. If they got in Champions League football, they probably would have splashed out on the wrong players. So I can see them getting back. No European football, getting back at least top 8 next year. But a team that makes as much money as they do is only ever really, and the fact it's Man United, they're only ever really probably about 3 or 4 years away from getting it right. But I'd put us currently probably about 5 years ahead of them. I think in development and everything, it would take us, if I was them, I'm thinking it would take us maybe 5 years to get back to the top. And everything has to go right. You have to get everything right.
there's more than just bringing in the right players sometimes.
Yeah, everything has to go your way.
Yeah,
everything has to go right. You can't really, mess it up for another 2 years, and then, so yeah, they have to start. So that's the other question. That's the easy bit, right? Just get everything perfect. So you can have all the money. They've shown that. And like you said, will the manager be there in 2 years? And will they get rid of Mr. 3-4-3 and bring in someone who plays a completely different type of football? Which I think they need to do immediately. I think they need to realize they made a mistake with this guy and just change it. But they won't do that.
How do you go about that?
To another formation.
How do you go about that realistically? Because you have a situation where you had a coach come in. He was given a free use to the checkbook. He's able to bring in all these different players, and all these players that he thought would fit his system. Now you bring in another coach that's completely different, completely different road or path towards his vision of success. And
it's not what you should be doing, but it's what I think they won't do. But I just don't think there's a future in the way he plays. So, but no, they sacked everybody. They're not going to sack him. But I can see them starting again in 2 years' time, basically.
Which is
good for us. It's good for us.
Right, yeah. Oh, I love it. That's good for us for sure, because it makes a big difference in our ability to beat one of our major rivals, our main rivals.
You do wonder what other signings they'd make after the window opens again. Say they need a central midfielder. They've got central midfielders, but I think they need another one. They probably need a new goalie, don't they?
No, they need to sign Unana to like a 10-year deal.
Who's their left wing back? Dallow's been playing there, hasn't he? But they want a left foot.
Your man Dorgu plays there. Dorgu has played there as well a lot.
Is he right-footed? Is he Dorgu?
Yeah, he's on the wrong side.
Yeah, so they need a left wing back, don't they, to make it? Because it doesn't really work. I mean, he could do. Has he got a left-footed? Lissandro's left-footed, so he has got a balance there with the three: Yoro, De Ligt, and Lissandro. So he needs a left-footed wing back, don't he, in a midfielder?
You did miss out on one thing. Sorry, 12 earlier on. Not only has Trent knew he wasn't going to be able to use his 66 brand, which is a big thing for him, by the way. That's a bit of an inconvenience.
It is.
Because they don't allow numbers that high in La Liga. But so he's wearing number 12, but I'm not sure. Someone pointed out there, he's not wearing Alexander-Arnold on his back. He's just wearing Trent. The name on his back of his jersey now has been changed to Trent. So that's a bit of a brand thing. Is if you can't wear 66, it's like Alexander-Arnold. People in Spain ain't going to be able to say that. Oh my
goodness!
So yeah, now on the back of his jersey, when you see his announcement, it's him with his back to it, and it's just Trent.
Is this all his brothers direction, or I'm sure they have a team. I'm sure they have some type of team. But
good idea.
Yeah. JK.
Hi there, everyone. Norman in the chat as well. Easy enough.
That's just wild.
Huh?
Wild.
What's wild?
Talking about we're talking about Manchester United, but Brian brought up something about the fact that Trent's not going to be able to utilize number 66 because of the rules, but he's going to be wearing 12, and he's going to be changing his kit to say Trent instead of Alexander-Arnold.
I thought this. Yeah.
I didn't know. Is he Brazilian scouser? I don't know.
I thought this.
I mean, I see Brazilians where just the single name on the back, their first name.
The 66 was too near the Devil's number, so he's
maybe that's it.
He probably thank God. Thought, I can't have that number on my back no more. No wonder he flopped out Liverpool. No wonder, man. Get rid of that number, man. Never liked that number on him. I was like, why are you picking that number for, man? Come on.
666.
Yeah, it's too close for me.
Hence
why you left.
There's one to put up, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, damn. There you go. Look, you can't even look at us when he's taking it.
Yeah, Trent.
You can't even
I mean,
look at
if they could put like the sponsor on the bottom to say betray, you could say Trent 1 2 betray. But anyway.
Not sure like the collar at the back.
Oh, that was low.
Grabbed him from behind and
That was a
pulled
low
it.
blow. That was a low blow.
When's our kit coming out, man? Our new one. Bless up KJ as well, Kevin.
Yeah.
Any news when our kit's coming out?
That's real. Yeah, that's the official. That's Real Madrid now.
Yeah, he's going to have his announcement tomorrow. Proper official. Yeah.
Yep.
His choice at the end of the day. I always say that in life.
Yeah.
It's his choice.
His choice.
You know what I mean?
It's his life. It's his
But
life.
for me, bro, he had to leave Liverpool. I think he thought now is the time to leave Liverpool. I think a lot of people can't live in the same city their whole life. A lot of people do it. And I think it's a human thing. You know, we're like, you know what? I need to go and see another place and live somewhere else for my own sort of mental state. I know everyone's going to say, yeah, but it could be like that. You know?
He'd already left, JK. He was living in Cheshire where all the City and United fans live, you know, the Millionaires Village in Alderley Edge and out there. So he was already living a different life. So I'm not having a go at him. I'm just saying he'd already moved on. I just think football's different now anyway for
absolutely is. Absolutely. Well, that's the reason why I got in that's the reason why I asked the initial question. Because football, I know football radiates differently for a lot of South American players, especially because like I've heard Suarez, I've heard all these players talk about their national, they'll even McAllister, for instance, like as him speak about how, like if he, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but if he had to choose, like he's going to play for his national team, like as in wearing the international kit means so much more. But here we are in an era where players are thinking more about their individual careers and maybe even emphasizing the fact that the club teams do pay their salaries technically, you know. So they show a little bit more allegiance to the money and towards that aspect of the game. But there are some players that do hold a lot of allegiance, or at least a lot of patronage towards the international portion of their lives, or even like you're just saying about how a lot of the money, it's what I was saying about, for instance, Holland and Pep Guardiola could be arguably one of the best coaches of all time, and yet it's difficult for a coach to really tell a player who's got a 10-year contract, is making umpteen millions of dollars a year. There's absolutely no way that he's got possibly more security, even more security possibly than Pep Guardiola has at Manchester City. And you might argue different on the panel, I'm sure. But it's difficult to have him sit down and be like, oh, you gotta do this, gotta do that. If the player doesn't want to or believe in it, he could be like, I'll be here in 5 years. You might not be. Even as great as you are, you might not be here. It's a difficult conversation, I think.
I think, you know, if he'd been married with its children, say, you know, or they were settled and rooted in the city, it would have been a bigger pull maybe for him to stay. But I think having met Jude Bellingham and hearing his tales and Mbappe and moving in those circles, and also Trent's brand is his whole family, isn't it? You know, his brother's his agent, his other brother's a manager, his dad's investing with Trent. But he's
Mum makes it dinner.
Yeah, he's putting his money into the whole of his family. So he's not just making decisions for him. He's uplifting.
Certainly. That's why you gotta respect this, whatever his
it's a business move when you say it like that, Bernadette. Like when you say it like that, it's like a business move more than a football one.
Yeah,
but the thing is, it's Real Madrid as well, though. That's in the equation. That's sort of adds to that life, even the lifestyle, bro. When you look at the climate change, like difference between the northwest of England to Spain's climate, bro. These guys are playing golf in October and like early April. Like, you know what I mean? It's like March, April, they're like wearing t-shirts and stuff. Those guys are wearing woolly hats and it's June. It's a big difference, the climate as well, you know.
Well, we were it's a bit what?
Bang on, Kevin.
It's a big pull, you know, to be able to enjoy the cafe lifestyle. They can all go out. You know, over here,
I doubt he's doing the cafe lifestyle. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
No, but the cafe
I
lifestyle.
know what you mean.
Yeah.
The cafe
It might
lifestyle.
the name might begin. The word might begin with C, but it has an LUB behind it rather than AAFE.
No, but
No, the cafe ones in the
sorry,
morning, the CLUB ones in the evening, bro.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, you know, in the sun, as everybody knows, especially in Spain, people take the children out in strollers and pushchairs in the evening and sit and have a coffee and ice cream. You can't do that. He couldn't do that in Liverpool, you know.
It's a different life, different lifestyle.
So I don't, you know, I'm not 100% with the way he went about it, but I understand what he's done for his own reasons.
I don't think you guys do. I know they do it in Spain. I think they do it in Italy too. But like, you know, in France they do it they do it as well. Like people come home for like lunch and like eat lunch breaks with their family and stuff sometimes, you know, because of the way that they set up things in Spain, or I know they do it in France. I don't know if they do it.
2-hour siesta.
Yeah.
They still have it there, but we don't have it over here. There's no point here because it's not hot enough to need to go and lie down for 2 hours.
Okay, all right. Well, speaking of Real Madrid, Kevin brought up something that I did see them spouting on. I did see it in the journos, and that is that here, I'll bring up his comment here. He was saying that they are thinking of buying Rodrigo. I know they're saying they're going to get Sesko, they're going to get Rodrigo. I know yesterday we were talking about whether we should go in for Tchouaméni or not. I personally would prefer if we could get Camavinga, obviously, but I don't think that that's going to happen. So with that said, you know, I think Tchouaméni isn't exactly too far of a downgrade, I guess, from Camavinga. I rate Camavinga over Tchouaméni, but I don't think that there's that much of a difference. Would you want to get involved in this Rodrigo race, possibly? Or is that just a role that, like, there's some players that we might not necessarily have a absolute need for at the moment, but yet if a player like that became available, would you want to see us go for him? I'll start with JK, go to Lady B, Brian, and then end with me.
For me, I would take that because, like, for me, if we could take two players from them, I would take Tchouaméni and Rodrigo. They're not really going to be starting. And at the end of the day, that class, like Rodrigo, like, you can talk about stats and stuff like that. He can play football, you know. And I know KJ saying, it's another sort of marquee sort of signing. He's a big name, if you think about it. He's not like, not a big name, you know. So for me, it depends on the fee and stuff. But for me, I'm looking at the Tchouaméni one more. And we need steel in that midfield, because when you look at our midfield, what do we lack? Steel. So I'll go with that. But for me, Rodrigo, I don't want him to end up at Arsenal. Does he actually play more right than left, don't he? That's the thing, because you got Saka at Arsenal.
No, he plays. Does Rodrigo play on the left more than he plays on the right? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
No, he plays more on the right than he does left.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because the left is either Mbappe or it's Junior.
Yeah, Junior. Yeah, it is. Okay. So for me, Saka and
AK does not like Tchouaméni, by the way.
He
is adamant about saying no.
I don't blame him though.
Did I say no?
I don't blame him, because he's looking at it. He's like, we offered him the chance to come, and he was like, I'm going to Madrid.
Oh, so
KJ didn't take no bullshit, bro. That's not fair play to him.
I mean, even James Bond said never say never. What does it say? Never say no. Or what was the movie again?
Never say die.
Never say die. I thought there's never say never. I thought, or was it? What's the movie?
That's a saying. Never say never.
Never say never again. It was the last one that Sean Connery did.
Sean Connery said he wasn't going to ever play Bond, and then he played Bond again.
Yeah. think he was wearing a rug as well to play him.
Oh well, I don't. Hey,
By
rest in
by
peace, but I mean,
yeah,
like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah. He was rugging it, wasn't he? By them Bond. Connolly.
Jeez. Okay. Lady V, do you think we should go for Rodrigo?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen quite a bit, different channels talking about him, like reputable channels. Not, not all channels are the same, but I have seen a few saying that that we've got an interest in him, and we've spoken and we've showed an interest in him. So I don't know how that will go, but yeah, I'd definitely take him.
Okay. How about for you, Brian?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If you have, by the end of next summer, in this team, you have Wirtz, Rodrigo, and Isaac, that's the kind of thing you're talking about. That's the kind of thing. Rodrigo is one of the best out there. He can play on the left, but like you said, the two boys are there. I think he's not very happy there. Came out and said he wanted to leave, then came out and said he wanted to stay. But I don't know. I don't know how viable he is, but he was one of those guys. We were definitely trying to get him, but he went to Madrid as a kid, young player, big money. Same window as Vinny, I think. He was just as highly rated as Vinny. So yeah, I'd bring him in. Especially if you're gonna if you got a 70 million bid from Saudi for Diaz, probably wouldn't cost you that much more, and you'd have Rodrigo, who's 24 now. Is he probably about 24 now? So it gives you an extra sort of 4 or 5 years.
I'll double check. I think he is young like that, though. He is 24.
You also have Gakpo. Yeah, you also have Gakpo as well. He's not. KJ saying he's 22. He can cover. He can play on the right if Mo isn't. He'd be a top player to bring in.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask this. How about this then? Real quick follow-up question then. Would you be against selling Cody for high price money or high price number, being that we have some type of coverage on the left side? Would you be against selling a Cody Gakpo to Bayern Munich, for instance, for like 75, 80 million or something, and then utilizing that to secure us a right wing like a Rodrigo? Would you be against that?
Yeah.
No way for me.
That was a follow-up to you, Brian.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't sell Cody to bring in someone on the right. No, I think Diaz is at peak value now, and he's probably the most easy to sell because he wants a big contract, and we're probably not going to give it to him.
Right.
I'd use that money.
Well, I mean, most teams,
I don't want to.
I'm just saying it from a perspective of Diaz is definitely at his peak for his value, but Cody also has the youth, comparatively speaking, a couple more years on him. So
no, I wouldn't be selling Gakpo. No.
Okay, just asking if it being that we do have
I hear you, but I still wouldn't. Yeah, no, I wouldn't sell Gakpo. I keep Gakpo and sell other people.
Okay, just asking. All right. For you, Lee, is a Rodrigo move a good move, or do you think that we should be better served in moving for or letting him move wherever he decides to move on to?
No, if we could get him, I'd be made up. He's a fabulous player, isn't he, Rodrigo? Sure, he'd fit right in with some of the players we've already got. But it's whether he'll be sold or not. Like we've heard different reports, haven't we, out of Spain, that he definitely isn't, then he might be, then he isn't, then he might be. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It costs a lot of money, though. He's have to pay a lot of money for Rodrigo, but he's worth it. In the same way that is.
I know that we've been also in the talks, at least, of securing maybe a center half. I don't know if any of us have a real firm grasp on what the future of our center backs look like. Jarell Quansah from Academy Gem to potential £50 million man. Leverkusen are reportedly circling in on seeing him as a long-term replacement for Jonathan Tah, who is moving on. And with Quansah having only started 13 games last season, it's fair to ask, does he want more? Liverpool are hesitant to sell, especially with Konate contract talks just gaining traction. But the Reds did miss out on Dean Huijsen and are actively pursuing alternatives. The future of Gomez isn't exactly assured, and there might be some that think that it might be time for us to move on from Joey because of the age, some of the ongoing injuries and the likes, even though he's our longest serving servant to the team. But let's be real, £50 million for a 22-year-old who grew up in the youth academy is serious money. That's all profit. But is it smart business? I'm going to ask the panel in reverse order that we just went. Should Liverpool cash in on Quansah now or commit to developing him as the future of our back line? I'll ask that to Lee, and then go Brian, Lady B, and then JK.
For Quansah, we're better off keeping him, aren't we? Because we already need a player in that position. To let him go now wouldn't make sense. But he's one of the saleable assets alongside Diaz that we will probably get money for. Just depends whether we're willing to gamble on selling him and replacing him with somebody else. Mm-hmm. Which to me, it's just too much. We've already got quite a few comings and goings, so maybe sort that position out more as time goes on. But I think we need a player there, for next season, an extra player, so Virgil can have a bit more rest. At the age he is now, I'd like us to be able to rest him in some league games, so we didn't have to play every single one. That's a big ask to replace Virgil for a player to come in who isn't going to be for a massive fee. You say it was Hato or somebody, or this Moroccan guy come in and replace Virgil is quite hard. So I don't know. I wouldn't be selling Quansah now.
I don't know if Leverkusen. I mean, they've got the money now to pay for it, so they can certainly, give us some of our money back, I guess you could say. But with the reported deal that's on the books, the
Red centre-back's apparently available for peanuts.
What did you say? Who is?
That Ren centre-back, the Moroccan centre-back, the Ren.
Yeah. Apparently one that we had to look up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd be looking at us buying him and keeping Quansah. So well covered in that position next season because we've got new fullbacks as well. So keep Quansah and add to it.
I saw that people in the chat are all saying cash in for the most part. I saw Revanite say cash in. Big up to Revanite. Big up to Anfield Roar and those that are joining us, by the way, here.
Bless you.
Would I bring back Nat Phillips? Of course I would. Nat Phillips is a trooper. Let's see. Who else said they would they would sell him? Someone else said that earlier. But I'll find it in a second. But would you sell Quansah for 50 mil? That's the price tag apparently that we're putting on Quansah, 50 million.
Oh.
I'd take 50. If someone was to give us 50, I'd take that because it's a lot of money.
Okay.
I wouldn't be taking 30, though. There'd be no point in selling.
I saw that. I saw your Field Wars thing. Yeah. He said he'd cash in on Quansah, to be honest, especially if it's 30 million plus some add-ons. That homegrown profit is nice. Also, Elliot, it's time to move on. Quality may be there, but he's bored waiting for it.
Well, I think if they were to make a bid, it'd mirror the Wirtz thing where they made a lower bid and then upped it. But I think their bid could start as low as 20, seeing as how they're a German club that aren't Bayern Munich and it's a centre half. Do you know what I'm saying?
50 million on the table, Brian. You taking it, or are you saying no? Quansah is a no go.
You'd have to have some serious business lined up because it's in isolation, yeah, but we already need one centre half, in my opinion. So if we're to sell him, we would leave ourselves incredibly short.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'll be a good deal for us. But with the amount of changes we're already looking at making, and we only also have him and Gomez as backup, to sell him and only then leave Gomez as backup to Ibu and VBD, we'd need to have two centre halves lined up ready to come in. So would it be worth the hassle? Would it, we're going to have to spend the money. Would they be better than him? But in isolation, 50 million for Quansah is a good deal, but we're already short there. And we're already making a lot of changes. So.
Last time we started the season with 3 centre halves, no sooner was Lovren out the door and we were down to no centre halves. Yeah, we can't be starting the season with 3 centre halves, could you? That's just pathetic. That's a no-go. Not when City have 7. I'm sick of repeating that, but they do. For us to have 3 would be ridiculous. We must have players. We must be looking at players in that position. If we were genuinely interested in Heisen and it wasn't just bollocks and media talk, then we must be looking at other centre halves as a alternative to what we were after and didn't get.
Okay.
Maybe Hato's the most likely, given the sort of fee we're talking for him. He's young, isn't he? But it's a reasonable fee for us to pay. I think that it's not too much, is it? Like the others, God knows how much they'd actually cost. Like the Colombian fella. Apparently, that Moroccan fella will be available cheap anyway. Abdulhamid Aitboullah. But he's repeatedly one of the best young defenders in the French league, according to someone or other. Last season, he was one of the brightest young defenders in the French league.
Okay.
He was to Germany, don't they? All the young.
Yeah. We get it. You like that player. You like it. You talk about him a lot.
Yeah, I know nothing about him, but he has a good report. Whoever said it, like I trust their word. Then that he is racist and he's one of the best young defenders.
Okay. How about for you, Lady B?
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've gone around the houses on this one with Quansah because I think that first season when he broke it out and he was with when Garnacho was injured and he was playing with Burge. Everybody was calling him the next Virgil. He was so cool.
I know. Yeah. By the way, this segment was called VVQ or VV Who, but I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, and you think, well, we've all got short memories because this lad was being, hailed as the next best thing, and then he had that bit of a meltdown, didn't he? When he had a really bad game, and then Slot dropped him, and that. I do think he deserves a little bit more, to see whether he can get back to the way he started. I'd like to see that, but I'm saying that, we're all mercenary in a way, because if we did get a new, a new replacement for him who was absolutely fantastic, we'd just say goodbye. I know it sounds awful, but that's football, isn't it? So, but the question is, would I keep him? I think. If he could go back to the promise he showed, I think he could actually be a really good player. But I'm not sure whether mentally he's got the ability to do that, because he sort of had a meltdown, didn't he, when he was dropped?
Okay, JK. I see. Also, I see the over like again. Most of the, or at least the ones I saw early on, were cash in.
Cash in. I see it like this. We've seen glimpses of real good talent there, and what it is with football supporters nowadays, they judge a player off 90 minutes. I'm like, come on, man. Who's perfect in this world? No one. So
people are either you could be firmly club legend to go to out the door in one game with a lot of
in
fans.
one game, bro.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
That's how football fans are nowadays. Where is the patience in the game nowadays? And I think the Quansah one for me, it's just a patience game because I've seen in him considerable talent. Hence, I've always said that the VVQ sort of name tag he got given to him is a bit too much for me. But at the end of the day, I'd rather give him a good 3 years or another 2 years and to see how far he develops. And still we'll get a good price for him because for me, we got him for free. His wages ain't high. And he's playing and he's training with the best defender in the world, centre-back, Virgil van Dijk.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had a rocky last season. I don't think it was his best season. I think under Klopp he had much better seasons than he did last. It all started on the first day of the season, bro. And when that happened, I don't think he took it really well. Like Bernadette said, stroppy faces. As you know, I don't like them. And he had a couple other times then. But later on in the season, you've seen him celebrating goals. He wasn't getting no game time, and he was just still celebrating. And that was good to see, you know what I mean? So he's a young lad, bro, and that sort of stuff is going to hurt him because he wants to be not embarrassed of not playing for Liverpool, bro. Because under Klopp, he was starting good games. He was starting. So he's went sort of downhill, I would say, last season for me. And I'm not going to give up on him. I think he can be. If he's got good people around him who know how to sort of guide him the right way. You got to understand, bro, these guys are into that world of stardom and showing up, getting girls and party. You know, they want to do that thing as well, bro. I think sometimes it's football fans
like Lee.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're hanging out with Lee too much. Yeah.
Yeah, hanging out with Lee in Liverpool. You know what I mean, bro? It's a Lee, you got the chance to sort him out, man. Quansah, it's your job. Take him out and that. But you know what I mean, though, bro. They're humans. So sometimes you've got to understand, they're going to have parties and stuff like that and might take him off their game for a while and stuff like that. But for me, he's learning. And he could be a good top defender if he carries on just concentrating. It's all about concentration. Him and Kanate sort of suffer the same thing, concentration levels. And they're playing next to the guy who's the best in the business at keeping concentration levels high, Virgil van Dijk. So it amazes me sometimes. Maybe they're sort of feeling, less superior because Virgil's there. You know what I mean? You get some players like that who think, you know what, I want to be the big guy at the back, the main man. And that sort of comes into football as well, bro, even though they're playing on the same team. It happens. Human nature, man.
Okay. It's a question. It's a question. I mean, I see people are saying, he needs to, if he wants to stay, he needs to fight for it, Big question. If this is the right move for him, or maybe, other pastures make it more feasible place for him to continue to watch his game grow. Or maybe he was given all the accolades, maybe just a step too soon. I don't know where I'm at on that. I think Quansah has talent. I think that there is talent. I think the two positions on the pitch that are so heavily related to confidence. There's measures of you have to have confidence for every position, but I think the two most measured positions are either striker or goalkeeper when it comes to confidence. You got to have mentally. It's one of the most difficult positions to be in because striker, you're looked at to score all the goals, and for the most part, and goalkeeper, you're looked at to keep out all the goals. And your confidence can be a big factor in how you perform, no matter where your talent level is. But Gomez went through something I think similar to what Quansah, in my own opinion, is or has gone through or is going through, and that is a dip in confidence. And Gomez has had that dip in confidence, and it did take him a little while to get it back. I know just what GK spoke on earlier about having one game. I remember, because I got a lot of flack for it, but I remember even I was down in the dumps from Gomez's performance in that Champions League match. Or actually, he had 2 bad Champions League matches, but in that particular when he played against the Italian side, and even I was like, hey, I don't necessarily want to see Gomez playing center half for us, but I said I would prefer. I think it's maybe he needs to focus his attention on right back or left back for us to maybe get some, not have to be at the last guard before getting to that keeper. But Quansah needs to find that too, and he somewhat did towards the end of the season. I think. Would you say different? JK, would you say different? Do you think that he found a little bit of it towards the end of the season, or do you think that he still has a ways to go? Oh, JK's on mute, so I will ask Lady B that question if you don't mind.
Yeah, I think you could see his confidence. Well, to be honest with you, after the backlash he got off everybody for the way he played that day, and then he was dropped, and all the press around him, saying he was sulking and he was upset, and it's a lot for a lad his age to put up with, and he had to put up with it. And for the fact that he came back and gave a good performance, I thought spoke a lot to me. I thought maybe the lad, he's maybe he is actually growing up a bit. He's realising, what he's got to do. But I'll tell you what, I would be interested in. Not that I'll ever find out, but I'd love to know what. Oh God, my brain's gone. I'd love to know what Virgil thinks of Quansah and what he thinks of Konate. Who does he think's got the talent? Who does he think will be a goer? And who would he like to get rid of if he could? I'd be really interested in that, because I think he'd be the best place
person to ask. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I said that the other day. Ask him and he'll tell you.
Yeah.
Well,
But don't you? Just a quick thing, don't you? When you look at football players, when they start off and they all look like really good because why they're determined to show the world who they are and stuff, but then they sort of deteriorate. I don't think enough's done within the clubs to sort of, I wouldn't say train them to how to live and that, but just to sort of mentor them like into that way of thinking, of, you know what I mean, to be a bit more serious, because a guy can go from possibly signing a 300 grand a week contract to a 3 grand a week contract playing non-league.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I know it's only money. It's money at the end of the day, but it's also their career, bro. He ain't going to win no Champions Leagues playing for a non-league team after 3 years at Liverpool, for example, because you just deteriorated. Look how many guys who left Liverpool when everyone thought they're going to be big time. A lot of them. And they've not really ever sort of made it. Trent being the one who has. But with a club like Liverpool, look at Chelsea as well. They do the same. They bring a lot of guys through, but a lot of them don't even make it to the scene.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there should be something like, to retrain them, really. I know it sounds a bit, but it depends on
There
how long.
are.
Yeah, but
There are.
it depends on how long they've been with you as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Someone's only just come in and they're not going to make it. You're not going to invest all that into them. But if you come through the academy, I know Trent's got something going as well, hasn't he, to get them retrained.
Yeah, but for me, I think it's this. When you think about a lot of footballers, when they start off,
Don't know what's going on in the back.
coming from a working class family and stuff, where their old man's probably worked full time and they got a house and whatever, just a basic sort of living. And then what happens? Bang! They sign a contract. They're getting 10 grand a week, and they're sort of, it's like, wow. Back in the days, if I wanted a new watch and a new phone, I'd have to save up, and I couldn't get it for a year. Now it's like, bang! I can get 3 of them. And I think that sort of really rattles these players at a young age. People don't really think them just.
Don't you think they get like financial advice and that, on how to?
I think they're gonna have an attitude. It's my money. I'll do what the fuck I want with it. I can't unless they're family's sort of involved with it, like always there and telling him, hey, give it a rest now or whatever. These guys could be getting wild and stuff. So we don't know. That's why I think a lot of footballers don't make it, because they don't know how to handle it. Look at what's his name, Drinkwater, left Leicester after winning the league title and that. Went to Chelsea, and you never seen him again. He went for about 30-odd million as well. For Danny Drinkwater, bro. Fucking hell, man. Come on. And he was on good wages as well. He couldn't handle the lifestyle. Just ruined his football career. Now, God knows where he is now. He's probably drinking water somewhere because he drank too much booze or whatever. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you this, too. I'll tell you this. Hanford Roar is bringing up something. He says, I know he's speaking to Kevin, but because they're having a conversation. But he was saying his criticism of Quansah is when rotation is needed for an important Champions League match. Is Quansah going to be someone we can all feel confident playing? Anfield Roar doesn't. I get that. There have been times, though, where Quansah has looked very, very not only confident, but extremely calm and collected, playing within himself. Playing, I think back to the it was not he had a good game in the Europa in the Europa tournament for us, but I think it was League Cup. I think it was the League Cup where he set up, like, he got an assist or something like that, where he took another like Matt Tip style run and actually picked up an assist that way. There can even be an argument. I know when he did play alongside of, for instance, Ibu, I actually thought that Quansah looked like the better center half in that game. It's only one game, but he did look like the better center half in that one game than even Ibu. So, like I said, there are parts and points where I think that Quansah has looked good and could be given that bit of confidence back if he weren't or was able to get an opportunity, basically, is what I'm trying to get across. Get out.
Yeah, he comes across very mature for his age, doesn't he? Quansah.
You think? Okay.
Yeah, no, I think he does. I think he's. Apart from the sulky bit, we know about that. But that could just be, like he's absolutely sick. He's not playing. He thought he was going to get that. He thought he'd won. He got the role. He thought,
what I mean?
Yeah, and he's getting praised off everybody, so he thinks he's made it. And then the next thing is he's had a bad game and he's dropped. So, that's immature. I know that, that's immature. But even that mature players might feel like that. But I think in general he's quite mature.
Right, and I agree. I was just going to ask too. Look, I know I've been very vocal on my opinion of the approach that our current coach takes with his
player handling,
his man management, basically. And obviously, it was a big confidence shakeup when he took him out of that Ipswich game, which he most likely should have. He was playing poorly, and it looked like he was, maybe not ready for prime time at that very moment. But ever since that game, he rarely, if ever, saw the pitch again, and was even sometimes left off the roster altogether. So could it also be that maybe some of this blame can be held on to? We've seen a difference in the player's ability to get his confidence, keep his confidence, get his form back under this coach, and maybe it could be because of the way that the coach goes about, managing minutes and allowing for players to get actual time on the pitch.
Yeah, you have to keep it sweet. It's like, for me, a football manager has to keep it sweet with every player. Klopp, the master at it, and I think Slot needs to. Okay, he wanted to show he means business, But we've never really had a manager like we got so used to Klopp in the way he handles players that we sort of just accepted it from Slot to come in and do the same sort of thing. You know, like he ain't gonna have players sort of having sulky faces and stuff. It's like I hope next season it's a different sort of Slot where he thinks, you know what, I need to keep it more sort of settled. We could have won 3. We could have won 2 more cups. 100% believe in that. We could have won the League Cup final. We could have gone further in the Champions League after a 1-0 win away at Paris. So that's all the management side of it. You know, footballers have got personalities and that. It's hard to control all of them. There's a lot of players there. But for me, we've got a lot of mature players in the team anyway. So, but for me, I just think the manager needs to do a bit more in that way. Just
You know
you know. Yeah, go on.
That game, sorry, where he was dropped. I'm trying to think now from memory. What was it? Because he was subbed on and he wasn't on long, and then he was.
No, he started. He started that game.
Oh, he started. There was something that really upset him, wasn't it, about getting dropped, and everybody called Slot out at the time and said he should have maybe not handled it a bit different. That's why I was thinking maybe he'd been.
I think he subbed him out. Let me check again. I think he subbed him out. It was either at halftime or right before halftime. Let me double check.
I don't think he kept him on.
I think that was just Slot trying to show his statement.
That was his like prison moment where like he went in and punched the biggest guy, punched the guy in the face in the prison yard type thing to show everyone he's a boss.
But at the end of the day, we won the game, if you know what I mean. So it weren't like, we lost 2-0, you know?
Yeah, let me see. Let me look it up for everyone.
It's just that because Slot was criticised afterwards for it, and I was just trying to think, why would he been criticised? And I thought, did he sub him on and then sub him off not long afterwards or something like that?
Nah.
No,
like that.
He was.
But for me,
it was because he started that game, and because like he was looking poor in it. To be honest with you, it wasn't necessarily a bad move. It was just more so, not many players get subbed off. I mean, it's the first game, and you're getting subbed off at like halftime. It's
embarrassing. But for me, bro, Slot's there to win that game, and the thing was, he was thinking, okay, I'll make this sub, and 2, it'll send a message to all the players, don't fuck around. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hence, we went on to win the Premier League, because I think that game, Jota scored in that game, I remember. Was it 2-0 that game we won, or 2-1?
I believe it's because I think his man scored on us, I think. I mean, I'm still looking it up. For some reason, I can't find the game.
Yeah, so for me, you got to learn, and that's Quansah's sort of career at Liverpool. You know, look how long Curtis has been with us now, man. Has he improved? Quansah, has he improved? Last season he didn't improve, so next season is a very big, important season for Quansah. Concentration, him and Konate for me. Got to concentrate.
My bad. We did. It was 2-0. You're right.
Yeah, it was 2-0. Yeah.
We lost. We won 4-1 at Anfield.
Who did we bring on for Konate? For Quansah, Konate, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he came on at halftime.
Yeah.
I think we definitely need someone extra in defence. You know, we're so vulnerable, really, when you think about it. If somebody gets injured, and that, so I still think we've got to get someone else, definitely.
You thought Delap scored, KJ, because they kept telling us that he's going to score against Liverpool. That's what they do.
No, that game. That game. We controlled the entire second half. That first half, they looked like they had opportunities to score, especially towards the end of the second half or first half. They had opportunities to score, or at least they looked like they were pushing to get something across the line.
Yeah, promotion buzz first half at home. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you got Mr. Sharon in the audience. Yeah, tough crowd. Before it gets too late, because we're at the 80th minute here, I wanted to say there has been some talk about a polarizing player. Mr. Núñez is just that guy. He's at a crossroads despite 40 goals and 26 assists in 3 seasons. Apparently that is garbage, or in some people's opinions, or below standard. He struggled to cement a starting role under Slot. Only 8 Premier League starts this season. Al Hilal and Al Nassr are sniffing around with big money, but Darwin reportedly prefers to go to either Spain or Italy. That's what is being told or being speculated on. Slot has acknowledged the players' frustrations, but the real issue might be financial. Rumors suggest Liverpool benched Darwin to avoid triggering further payments to Benfica. I don't know about that. I think they still ended up paying those payments, so I don't know if that's exactly accurate or not. But now with Wirtz's transfer looming, large selling Darwin might unlock the final funds for other deals, if not help fund that deal as well. It is something to ask, you know. He had very few goals last year, very few real good starts, if not quality minutes last year as well. He was the most subbed in player in the Premier League, but again, there are more like garbage minutes at the end of games and stuff, or games where we're, you know, trailing
2
by
minutes.
goal. Or,
Yeah. 2 minutes, 14 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, you know. According to TalkSport's Ben Jacobs, Liverpool are now actively assessing internal and external options to replace Darwin Núñez as a chance to at center forward looms this summer. That's a big question. I know that apparently they've narrowed it down to 4 choices being the main topics. Shout out to K-Mac, because your guy Arshaman is not involved in this war, in this top war, so he might have tuned out. Hopefully he stays tuned in. But this is what Jacob says in his report. He claims that Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike, Benjamin Sesko, and João Pedro are all on Liverpool's radar. Internal discussions have already begun around a potential reshuffle. Each player represents a distinct archetype. You know, obviously Isak is technically polished, very high ceiling. We've already seen what he did to us in the League Cup final. Premier League proven. That's very big with a lot of people. Explosive movement. Sesko, classic number 9 mold with aerial prowess, hold up play as well. Something that we could utilize. Ekitike, raw, but very similar qualities to an Isak, maybe even at a better value, despite the fact that they are asking for what is reported to be 100 some odd million that they're looking to get back for him. And finally, Pedro. I know João Pedro is a big star on the rising. He's also a player. I know that a friend of the show, a friend of mine, Drifty, loves this guy in the sense of, I say Paul really likes this guy as a player or potential red. He's a versatile attacker, smart and link up, intelligent in pressing patterns. The short list reflects possibly a broader trend in this summer window. Outgoings like Kelleher's sale aren't just financial, they're strategic, obviously. Funds are freed up. We had a lot of this window is different because we've had 2 windows basically in one that we're able to put the funds together to go for players. And we sold quite a number of players last summer and didn't necessarily buy that much in return. And, you know, with that sizable bank that we have, we could be making acquisitions. I'm looking at how Manchester City have just made over 300, close to 350 million in acquisitions in the January window and now early in the summer window. And a lot of us are thinking, okay, what are we going to do? And dropping 150 million on Wirtz, 30 some odd million on Florian. Frimpong. I mean, that's about 180 some odd million right there. And now people are thinking about us possibly going for an Isak or a Ekatike. But we have to figure out what's the next move for us. So I'm going to ask, I know Brian's answered this already, so I'll go to him last on it. But is it time to move on from Darwin Núñez? Or, because apparently we did get an offer of 60 million and Darwin reportedly didn't turn down the idea of moving to Al Hilal. Would it be better for us to sell Darwin Núñez, or would it be better for us to possibly cash in and sell Diego Jota at the moment? I'm going to ask Lady B for her answer. I know her answer is very much similar to Irishman's, but I'll ask her all the same.
Yeah, no, to cash in on Darwin. And I mean, I haven't got much, to be honest with you, I haven't got much faith in Joshua either at the moment. But I think to get the money back for Núñez and spend it on a decent player.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'll quick follow up then. If we do keep Núñez, hypothetically, we don't make a deal, keep Núñez. Do you think our fans should belly moan about not making the move, or do you think they should at least do their best to try to figure out a way to support him and see if he brings some contribution to the team?
Yeah, I mean, well, Liverpool fans would get behind if he stayed. We'd get behind him because he's one of ours, so we would get behind him. But you know, I think there'd be an awful lot of upset people if he does stay. You know, because otherwise he's going to need a miracle to turn around what he's been doing the last couple of seasons or more. So, but if he does stay, I'm sure everyone will get round him. You know, back him.
Okay. Lee, how about for you?
What was the question? Sorry, I was just going to type something there. I was just in the middle of typing something.
It's okay, Lee.
I
know. I'm going to ask you to put your camera on so I can know when.
I'm in that remember when mode. Like,
Yeah. No, we're not doing a remember when session right now. What I was going to ask, or what I am asking, is, would you, if you had to choose between two of the players to move on from, would you move on from Darwin Núñez, or would you move on from Jota? I know people, I pronounce it hot.
Yeah.
And if we were to keep Darwin, and the follow-up question to that is, if we were to keep Darwin Núñez, do you think that fans should belly moan about it, or should they get behind and support the player in whatever way they can?
Yeah, we've got to support Jota next season and not be too demanding of him. We've got to give him a chance to try and prove that he can still do the job.
Or even Jota could be applied to that question too.
What was you saying? Like, I'm bothered about what? Sorry, about Núñez, like staying. Yeah, I want him to go, like, because we need the money, don't we?
Yeah.
He needs to go as well because he wants to play, but we've got to find a buyer, haven't we? Jota, I'm prepared to give some time to, because I've seen enough from Jota in the past. And I've seen him playing for Portugal and Spain as well. He was on the pitch where he didn't start, but I think he could still do it. Jota, like, if we get the rest of the team right and he gets himself right, then there's still something here for him. But he's got to step up. I think Núñez, it's done, isn't it? Really.
I don't know if it's done, but I get what you're saying. I've heard different reports, but I heard a report that apparently Slot sat down with them and said, "This is your year." make or break.
Mm-hmm. Well,
yeah, there you go. Not to throw you off. That's just a report.
Season, then it seems to suggest that he'll be on his bike, doesn't it? I mean, it'd be the best thing for him. Got nothing against him. It wasn't his fault it didn't work. It just wasn't the right transfer, which we've seen so many times for other clubs. It happens to all clubs. It wasn't the right transfer. It didn't work. So I wish him well in the future. I will follow him a bit to see what he's up to and all that crap like when he's left. I want to see how he's doing. But we just need to get some of the money back. I'd be happy to lose like about half, maybe a bit more than half on it. So if we ended up paying 72 million, so get about 30.
The offer was 60 million. I think that they turned down. If just so you know, 60 million pounds was reportedly the offer.
That's a lot, isn't it?
It was 60. I think it was 60 million. I'll double check.
My God, I'm astonished at that because we wouldn't be losing hardly anything. 12 million there. That would be most agreeable.
So, which one of you wants to? I know one's going to be a little negative, the other's going to be positive. So, which one of you want to go first?
60 for him. We can offload a few others, and we've got a few bob to spend once more, haven't we?
Well, let's go negative first, then go positive. So, Brian, what are your thoughts on this? Same question.
Can't believe we're still having this. Look, it's not about negative. This is what I'm talking to JK the other night. You know, you're not allowed to have an opinion. You have to be a hater, or you have to be a fanboy. I liked the guy. I thought he was really good. He came in. Now, he hasn't really kind of worked out for him. So I think we should move on. It's really all there is to it than that. Like, so if you're talking about like puerile 14-year-olds that call them names online, I can't really help that. But if you're talking about people who are just normal and mature people and just have an opinion, why should they change their mind if he stays? Like, if you're talking about assholes online, I can't. There's always going to be an asshole online calling someone a dickhead. You know, but if someone doesn't think he's up to snuff,
like, why wouldn't you give a player? I just ask on we've talked about different, and I'm just bringing clarity to my question for you. Then, I know that's often when we deal with interaction, and then I agree. Online, the interaction is very much different than your common, face-to-face interaction and the
normal person.
Yeah, exactly. But it tends to be sometimes like I've seen people be like they're revisionist in the sense of they'll tend to, like, I've had someone tell me that Núñez has gotten worse every year, and that doesn't really, if you look at it, it doesn't really constitute to the facts. Or I've had someone say as far as Núñez might come in and have a good game, and yet he's still trash. He's still that was just luck, or it seems like they're soon to try to erase the things that are positive that might be traction for the player to kind of move forward and move on. Similar to what I was just talking about, similar to what we were talking about Quansah, for instance, but they seem, because they're on one side of the fence or the other, they tend to
and it happens on both sides. It happens from both sides. So
I don't know about that, but yeah, okay.
Well, no, it does. I mean,
I think I'm critical. I can be critical. But
I'm just saying when people want to kind of big him up, they go way overboard as well. So that's why I just stand back from it. It's not, Quansah isn't the first 22-year-old that can't get into an elite backline, by the way. It's not unique to Liverpool. It's not a unique to Liverpool situation. It's not like where Slot is going to play him next season. If you want him starting Premier League games, starting in Premier League games. Don't expect him to come in for one game and out for another game. Nobody does that. He's not the first 22-year-old that isn't quite there. If he was 26, he's getting in 24, 25.
I get it.
Darwin, I don't think we're cashing in on Jota.
It is a question mark sometimes.
I'm just trying to answer a few things. I'm just trying to cover a few things. Like, Jota, I don't think we're cashing in on Jota to any discernible degree. You're talking about maybe 20 million quid. So if you want to be able to do something and reinvest, then Darwin is really the one we want to try and sell, because Jota's pushing 29 now. He's got a lot of injuries. I don't think anyone's going to come in and give us 50 million quid for him. So I'd rather try and keep him fit over the summer, put him on a training regime, and keep him for another year, because you're only going to have minimal money to replace him. So Darwin is the guy. If you want to reinvest, if you want to have a lump sum to reinvest, then yeah, that's where I would go on that one. Jota,
That's back
yeah, Jota, man.
I think if Jota has a place to go, it would be back to Portugal, Spain.
I
Maybe
can see
Spain,
it
possibly
probably away on a free in 2 years' time or something.
Okay.
Yeah, they haven't got money to spend like that, have they, really? They're not going to take the chance, are they, on his fitness? Well, at least he was on the pitch for that final. He come reasonably close with that, as you could see he was disappointed with missing it, couldn't he? But he still knows where the goal is, let's put it that way.
I don't think he missed. I think he passed it to. He tried passing it, I think, didn't he?
I see him go close with a header. That's all I see.
Oh, that part, that one. Okay, maybe he did. I thought there was an opportunity that he could have probably taken a shot, but he tried to pass it to Mohamed Salah on one that I was like, oh yeah, trust me. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't the last game. It was the game that we clinched it. I think was the game.
Yeah, he needs to regain his mojo, if you let me call it that.
Yeah. Unfortunately for him, being suspended from international play, which is somewhere where he could possibly get that, is not in his favor either. So, well, before we move on, then, JK, did you want to have a comment on this?
Look, bro, this topic.
I know we're ending it. Oh, after your comment, we're ending it.
Yeah, for me, look, come on. For me, Wirtz behind Darwin Núñez could work only if the manager wants it to work. Because for me, we've seen last season certain traits in the manager on how he plays Jota and Darwin, for example. Darwin was sort of fit, majority. Jota had an injury and stuff, but altogether, he weren't really an important part of his team. Maybe he thought, you know what, I can sort of sacrifice that this season, last season, and play with the wingers scoring the goals and stuff. But we don't know what. See, this is what I mean about fans sort of speculating how Slot wants to play football. If he ends up keeping Darwin after getting a £60 million bid in, that means just one thing, that he's going to play him more. Because for me, otherwise, what's the point? Sell him. Like for me, you know me, you and me are like fans of Darwin. We want him to do well and stuff. But for me, I'm like thinking, don't keep him if he's not going to get 10, 15 games after each other starting. Other than that, send him off to play somewhere else. Because for me, it's too mind-boggling, the situation. You know, for me, if you're going to get a good fee number for him, and next season he's not in my plans like he was last season, sell him and Jota. You know? So that's where we're at. Like, I wouldn't sell Gakpo, no way. Gakpo for me, since the Euros was on it, he was doing well, got injured, and that injury sort of set him back, and that sort of pissed me off because he was really on form. So that's cool. I would never sell Gakpo, but I'm willing to sell Darwin and Jota.
Okay. Well, let's just Darwin of Arabia.
20 million for Chiesa to Inter Milan.
What's that?
Talking about Chiesa going to Inter Milan for 20 million.
Sounds. It's 20 million
I think they should. I would sooner just keep Chiesa. This for the sheer fact that
Chiesa,
like 20 million doesn't relate to like you getting some type of like hidden gem and
same as Quansah. Like, the money don't really mean nothing if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, it's
because there's a player behind that figure. Chiesa, there's a player there. Quansah, there's a player there. Yeah. So money don't really make no difference in them sort of deals. Because imagine we want to Quansah from a Coventry or a Blackburn Rovers youth player, tall. Everyone thinks, yeah, he could be the next Virgil van Dijk. We end up paying 5 million to them for him. You know what I mean? That's sort of happens in football nowadays. But we didn't. We had him for a number of years. So for me, work on Quansah and see how he goes next season. You know.
Yeah.
Same as Chiesa as well, bro.
I think
it don't look good from this side. When you look at how Slot handled all them players last season, it don't look good.
That's exactly what I was about to just add before we move on to this next segment. I was going to add real quick that hopefully this experience, his first year of experience for this coach, makes him recognize the fact that you cannot rely on a 13, 14 man squad rotation being your bread and butter. We are fortunate with some of the injuries not impacting players, especially certain important players on our team, and at least being able to have players that were able to step up. Most notably, like when Ali went down, having a Kelleher, who's a phenomenal goalkeeper, be able to step up in his ward and hold it down for us. But we definitely can't do that as well next year. But I was going to go around the league and around the world real quick because the transfer window is now closed, but it's not going to be that way for long. I know this Club World Cup is a quick pause on transfers. But afterwards, it does open up once again. There's only 5 days to wait until the next one opens. So there could be a lot of business on the way. Liverpool are close to breaking that reported British transfer record with the move for Florian Wirtz. But 3 issues remain. And they're also struggling to get a deal finalized, if there's going to be one, for Darwin Núñez that we spoke on. Manchester United could also be set to heavily spend on Mbeumo. Brian Mbeumo has been targeted by them alongside a new striker. Speaking of forwards, Arsenal are also in for a new striker. Both Victor Gyökeres and Benjamin Sesko have been linked with moves to the Emirates, with talks ongoing with both. The former has reportedly gone on strike to seal a I see Bernie had to go, I guess. Okay, so the former has reportedly gone to strike a deal or seal a move away from Sporting Lisbon. Should be interesting if he does. Speaking on heavy spending, both Manchester City and Chelsea have both been very, very busy in this window, and most notably City in the previous window before this. Pep G has already made 4 signings this summer, the latest being Tijane Reinders. Chelsea, in the meanwhile, have already welcomed, I don't understand how, but they've already welcomed 6 new faces to Stamford Bridge. It's like their project is just collecting players, apparently. I don't understand that at all. It could be interesting to see what they do with a lot of what they have under there. So Chelsea, Manchester City are close to moving in for Sphere Naipan. Do you know too much about that player, by any way? Does anyone on the panel really know too much about that player?
No.
No?
To be honest.
Okay. Yeah, apparently. I mean, I know Arsenal were looking possibly at bringing him in. I know Manchester City are also possibly looking at bringing him in. He's got to be, I would assume, somewhat of a reputable player. Chelsea are offloading Sancho, João Felix, Sterling, while signing 6 new players, as I mentioned. Classic chaos at the bridge, because Sancho, João Felix, and Sterling are all not going to be a part of that team that goes to the Club World Cup. I did speak of Manchester United. This one was interesting. I wanted to hear the panel before I even go on about the rest of what's going on around the globe here. Apparently, Manchester United are eyeing a Garnacho exit, and that is from Ronaldo pressure. Apparently, Cristiano Ronaldo has told his, I guess is his former team now, or about to be former team, Al Nassr, that the only way he will put pen to paper is if they sign Garnacho. What do you think about this? If this is, or do you think this is true? And what do you think about it if it is? I'll ask that of. I'll begin with Brian, go to JK, and then end with Lee.
I think it's hilarious. I'd be shocked if that's true. Yeah, Garnacho. Right. If that's a deal breaker, that is a very genuine. That's genuinely funny. Yeah. So yeah, straight up, no, I probably don't believe it. I don't. You didn't. Where did you say where it was from? But
I could get you the. Go ahead and speak on it. I'll find you the.
No. I mean, he's still going around. He's still Ronaldo. He can still call the shots, but I'm sure they can do better than Garnacho.
Yeah. It was from how do you pronounce that word? Biche.
Oh, Fijajes.
Fijajes? Yes, Fijajes.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I know they write some kind of. There's sometimes some outlandish claims are connected to them. But yes, it says Cristiano Ronaldo has demanded Al Nassr sign Manchester United winger Alejandro Garnacho before he puts pen to paper on a new contract. Manchester United will start the bidding for Garnacho at, let me repeat this, maybe twice so it sinks in, £70 million. Yes, I said 70 million pounds for Alejandro Garnacho is what they're looking.
Yeah, man, they might get him. Get that money, they'll be happy.
Yeah,
they'll have a barbecue just for getting that if they get that kind of money.
Yeah.
That is barbecue money and a half for there's no way.
Snowball's chance in hell. That phrase comes to mind. But you get 70 million for him.
Look, he's a good player, but I think I don't know, man.
He wants to move to Chelsea, by the way, too. Apparently,
I think he's all right as well. I think he's quite good, and he's wasted on them. But they're never getting 70 million for him.
Would you take him? Would you take him at Liverpool?
No.
Okay.
But I think he's okay. I think he's too good for them.
Who do you think is better, Garnacho or Gordon?
Garnacho. I'd rather Garnacho. Defo.
Don't say that too loud. Don't say that too loud. Dara might get angry at you.
No, I'll even let Garnacho off for having them 2 lines shaved in his eyebrow. Right? I'll let him off with that just to keep Gordon away. Can't be having witchy poo here, mate. We'd have to have a witch trial or something like and duck him in the pond.
Shout out to K-Mac. Yeah, you'll have to tell me, K-Mac. I was just about to type it, but I'll just tell you. You'll have to tell me what I need to do. I made you a mod, the highest mod on the show, or along with we're not obviously not the highest, but or the whatever. I made you a mod. I don't know what else I need to do to allow for you to send people to the channel, but I appreciate the fact that you were going to. Do you, Irishman, Garnacho or Gordon for you, the better player?
I don't know. I'll say Gordon at the moment, probably. But yeah, I'm kind of a KJ. Neither really float my boat. Garnacho probably a bit more skillful than Gordon. Gordon's a bit more direct, maybe, but I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. If I picked an 11 and I only had one spot left and it had to be either of them, probably pick Anthony Gordon.
Okay. Hey, Mac. I will do it after.
Probably do that.
Do that after the show. And JK, what is it that what is it you think is the answer, or what is your answer to that?
Best goal received from Garnacho is better than the best goal received from Gordon. I'll put it with that and then leave it up to JK. JK's goal with Garnacho's overhead kick, that was a boss on that against Fulham or something. I haven't seen Gordon do anything that technical as good as that.
Okay, yeah, Garnacho or Gordon. I see Max is just waiting. He said Garnacho all day, but both are garbage. All right. Big up, Max. Good to see you.
Gordon's got a face only a mother could love, and I'm not the guy's mother.
Yeah. Okay. There's been United States of Spurs, I think is the name of it, of Jacob's show. Well, I saw him put a post in because I guess he's getting some pushback. Thomas Frank is set to possibly be the next manager to fix the mess that Ange left. But Spurs fans are already putting the name Trash Can Thomas, I think they're calling him.
That's inventive. It's alliterative anyway, like.
Yeah. Trash Can Thomas. They're calling him, they're making memes already for this. Some Spurs fans are saying that Thomas Frank is not the man to get the answer to have an answer to their problems at Spurs.
So they're already doubting Thomas, are they?
Yeah. What is? I know it's difficult. I know most people are going to say we just don't care, but let's just have this intellectual conversation. In that, do you think it's the wrong? Do you think there's something in the mentality of Spurs that's just missing? That they are already negative about the possible addition of Thomas Frank to Spurs? JK, you just came off mute. You can tell me.
Like for me, bro, I was like, when names were getting mentioned about who can replace Klopp and that, I said I like Thomas Frank. I think he's a good sort of man management type of guy and that. Don't go to Tottenham. That's like that's the only message I can give him, man. Their fan base is really fucking rowdy. I've seen shows where they've gone out and like, oh my god, I ain't seen nothing like it. I thought, you think Arsenal fans are bad? Boy,
yeah,
these are worse. They're really bad. I'm so happy our fan base ain't like that. We've got one or two of some people are, you know what I mean? But in general, our fan base is really fucking sort of down to earth and that. But these guys fucking have a go at their club, man. The owners get it, the players get it, the manager gets it. Yeah, man. So Thomas Frank, be careful where he's going.
How many failed managers have they had in the last quarter of a century since the turn of the decade? Like, how many failed managers have they had? So it's just one after another. I mean, a couple of them elevated them. Posh was the best one. He got them second in the league and he got them to the Champions League final. But I mean, Mourinho, he did okay, didn't he?
Tim Sherwood's got the best win rate out of the last managers over the years.
Yeah,
Tim
so
Sherwood has the best win rate.
them, aren't they? They make a new appointment every 5-10. So they used to say, "Oh, is this guy going to be like?" I'm sure they're all hoping it won't play out like that, and I hope it doesn't for Thomas Frank's sake. I'd be happy for Spurs to be a force as opposed to Chelsea or Man United being a force. I'd be okay with that.
So Lee and Brian, we'd love to hear your answer or your opinion as well. What is success next year for Spurs with Thomas Frank?
Who do you
Do
want
they have to
first?
win another trophy, and that's the only way it's a success, or is it at least another? Let's get this. You're going to give the manager time to implement his system, get the right players that he needs to get the system moving. And
I think a sensible progression from where they are now after winning the Europa League would be to qualify for the Champions League once again next season and to get to the knockout stages, get beyond the group stages, and maybe go one further. Because if Villa could get there, then a rejuvenated Spurs, if that's what happens, could maybe get there. Villa paved the way, not paved the way, but showed the way a bit this season that, you might not have played in it for a while, but you can still do the business. So we'll see what happens at Spurs. They need a few more signings, don't they? They have got some good players to add to. So I hope it goes all right for them.
Max said an FA Cup is success next year.
He got low expectations for his club, innit, Max? Yeah. And he said or
a League Cup. Or a League Cup. He said basically the domestic cup is what they have to win next year. Okay.
So,
I would think that maybe.
I
was just gonna say real quick, and then I'll let you answer, JK. I was just gonna say maybe a deep run into the Champions League would be positive progression for them. But what is your thoughts, JK?
No, you can say like Max for Liverpool, he's got high expectations. He's got to win 3 trophies, but for his other team, Tottenham, he's got 1 FA Cup. Come on, man. Yeah. For me, Tottenham, bro, I think their rivalry with Arsenal is really fierce. I think it takes over their whole team and fan base. You know what I mean? It's like they don't really focus on the bigger picture. It's always Arsenal. Maybe that's a problem.
They've had some good results against City in recent years. Like they've done us a favour a few times by beating City, although maybe in the end up it didn't count. But
no such thing as people in your favour.
Obviously, being able to play in the Champions League was a big draw for Frank. Wanted to stay in London and to be able to manage the Champions League side. It's been a big draw for him, so he can try and prove himself. But it just depends what sort of backing he gets now from Levy and his partners, doesn't it? How much they'll give him. Because a lot of their signings have been successes. They've had a few flops, but a lot of their signings have done well. I like Bentancur. I think Basuma's a good player as well.
I think Bentancur was the best. I think him getting injured.
Yeah,
he ain't been right since.
Son's coming to the end now, but he's still got a part to play. Kulisevsky, Dom Solanke, Richarlison. There's the bones of a half decent side there. If he can get the rest of it right and make them solid at the back instead of like the way they were this season, then he'll be doing well, won't he? Like that's the way he'll probably approach it. But he's not as bored in the coach's son. Like he's not as bored in the coach's Conte, put it that way, and he got the bloody job.
Yeah, I think this might be Son's last year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Son. I'm glad to see Son was able to be a part of the team to get his club a title and end the drought and be the chosen captain. Even though he didn't start the game, he still was the captain of the team, or is the captain of the team. But I think unfortunately, this might be Son's last year coming up.
Vita Corleone's comment: Thomas the Frank Engine is like an Aldi version of Klopp in personality. He's a cool guy, man. That's funny. He is. That's why I like Thomas Frank. I think he's got that sort of down to earth sort of personality where he gets on with people and gets the job done. That's why for me he shouldn't go to Tottenham. Like, he shouldn't go there, man. There's certain clubs you just don't go to. And Arsenal's one, Chelsea, Spurs. Their fan bases are wild.
It's a tough fan base to be a part of, but I mean,
man.
if Brentford is looking to get rid of, some of the players that they're going to be moving on from, maybe this is the time for Thomas to bow out and say, hey, I've done what I can do here. I've made you guys some money. Maybe it's time for me to move on to higher. Yeah. There also is talks about Jack Grealish has been axed from City's Club World Cup squad, which could be the writing on the wall. There was talks about him going back to Villa. Now there's even, I saw earlier, Norm put in the chat that there might be talks of him moving on to Everton. Is that a wild shout?
I don't want him and Everton, mate, doing all that diving, which he will do because Everton will all be struggling to compete with us. He'll be doing all that diving instead of like Charleston or whoever else was doing it. And, don't want him, mate. No, he can go to Villa. Go back to Villa.
Okay.
Not that I care. I don't care about
Not
it.
that you care.
No,
Lead over the truth, isn't it?
Player, the Stefan Francis of the modern era, Jack Grealish. Yeah, whatever he does is up to him, and he's not a bad player. Like, he just wasn't like the level fee he paid for him, and watching that, like, it just made you think, oh, fuck off. 100 million.
He reminds me of Curtis Jones, man. He's not a flower footballer. Like, he can run with the ball, don't get me wrong, but he's sort of...
There is similarities to Curtis.
Stop
He moves with the ball, yeah, and the way he checks his stride and stuff like that. Yeah, he's done all right, but he's won loads, and he can't take that off the lads. He's won a shitload, mate.
Yeah, he won all good wages, this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, he wants to be playing football now. He's been on the scene for ages, Grealish. Think about it. Like, he's been on the scene a long time.
Yeah, well, he's bought.
And he's not a regular at City.
Yeah, he hasn't he? So it's time for.
Yeah, he's got competition now. Foden didn't play last season really well. God knows what's going to happen with him. Yeah, but Grealish, probably someone will snap him up. Look, bro, I think if Grealish did come to Liverpool instead of them, he would have done well for us.
He would have. I think Grealish would have been good for us. I think he would have been good for us. To be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because Grealish does open up a lot of the pitch. I think he would have. He would have been able to mix well with some of the players on the squad. I think maybe they would have even humbled him a little bit and maybe focused him in on
kept his feet on the ground, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. But look, for me, Max's question is good.
I mean,
here's one for you, Brian. Are you still with us?
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to be asked.
Oh, yeah.
You want?
Here's your question.
Next.
Start. How about start, bench, sell?
I don't care. That's a shit group. I don't care. No, Max. No more.
I'd start Gordon. Sal Grealish and bench Garnacho, maybe. Yeah.
Start. Wait, you said you start Gordon, bench who?
Garnacho.
Okay, and you sell Grealish.
Mm-hmm.
After you just said he'd be good on our team, he
probably back in the days. Back in the days,
oh, back in the day. Okay, now you're talking about right now.
His time at City made me realise something ain't right, because at the end of the day, if he was mentally locked in like a Kevin De Bruyne, he would be playing. Because for me, I think Pep's a mind guy. he don't really give a fuck how good you are at football, of course. But if he ain't locked in with your brain wise, it ain't gonna work. He ain't gonna play you. That's what I mean. I think if he came to Liverpool instead of going to City, you might have seen a different career for him right now.
He's won everything there is to win at City, at least once. Yeah, we weren't in the conversation for him at 100 million quid though.
No, never.
That wasn't happening. 100 million quid for Jack Grealish. We weren't doing that.
No,
That was a big.
not
It
even
was a
close.
big fee for him, man. He was
Right.
good, bro. But I think
100 million to have him sit on the bench, though, man. Come on.
Well, he wouldn't have said. I mean, well, that's what you're all saying. He would have been great for us, but we weren't back then. We weren't spending 100 million quid on anybody.
Oh no, I'm not disputing that at all. I just meant what City. I just talking about what City did with them, in the sense of they spent 100 some odd million on him, and he wasn't even a bona fide starter. That's tough.
that's mad.
Mm.
All right.
I wonder how much money they'll get for him. Like they'll have to take a big loss on him, won't they? Can't see Villa like paying that much for him if he does go back to Villa. Everton might have a few bob for him. He could end up at Everton if Moyes fancied him.
No, they've left him out of that Club World Cup squad, so they're obviously trying to
they're
send
moving.
him a message. So I reckon they'd take 25 million quid. He's 30 now, I think 30, maybe going on.
Is he that
31,
old? Is he old? I mean, I say that
That's
old
the thing,
meaning,
yeah.
like, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's you know, I think they could take 25 for him. I
Wow.
wouldn't be surprised. I don't know, a year left. I'd assume he's probably got a year left.
He's been on the scene for a while, good 12.
Yeah.
well,
so-
Long time. Yeah, it's mad. He's still sort of good age. He should.
He
Yeah, man, he needs to go to the team.
He's about to turn 30 in September. Yeah.
So he's 29. Fucking hell. So he needs to play football if it's the World Cup next year, whatever.
Oh,
And
if he wants to make
if
that
he wants to
English
play in that,
squad,
he needs to be
he's
playing
on
for a
the
team. Move. Yeah.
101.4 million pounds is what Manchester City paid for him.
You got to say, Man City's transfers in the last few years have been terrible.
Have you seen
when you look at it?
Have you really taken a good look at what we can maybe do a deeper look tomorrow, but if you really looked at what they brought in these last two windows, like usually they're bringing in some, whoever's the top of the class. Lately, it hasn't been the sort. I'm not saying that the players that they're bringing in are trash, but what I'm saying is they're not necessarily. I don't think any of the players that they've brought in are necessarily like top of the list of the bigger name clubs out there, which is interesting.
Do you remember that Tony Grealish for Ireland then, Brian? Because he was in Brighton's side in my Panini sticker album when it was little in the early 80s. But I thought he might have been Jack Grealish's uncle or something, but he isn't. He's not related to him, the Republic of Ireland and Brighton former player. I thought he might have been, but yeah. Do you remember him as well?
No.
No. Before your time. And I mean, I was only like 8 or something then when I first started collecting them sticker albums.
Oh, yeah. Remember that, Dustin? Jeez. How much did they pay for Calvin Phillips?
55 million quid, I think. 50 million, 55.
Another blunder. Trust me, man. Man City ain't that good at signing
Throw
players.
money up in the air.
Airport.
Yeah.
Doku as well. Come on.
Jeez. Some of these players are just like, but yet, what did they get for Palmer?
45 million, I think.
Yeah. Just pointing that, as a player, I'm sure that they possibly would appreciate having the squad now. Do you think Foden would ever be someone that could be expendable on their team? And if so, do you think that there's ever a chance that he could be Merseyside bound?
He would have worked wicked for Liverpool, Foden. Top player. Top player. God knows what's going on with him. I think he had a really rough year last year, on and off the pitch. But talent-wise, for me, probably City's top top 3 players. Yeah.
Top 3 player can't even find his way into the pitch though sometimes.
Yeah, because last season I think he had a lot of stress off the field and stuff as well, man.
Yeah, he did have a rough year. I think he was run over by a lawnmower, which explains his eyebrow with them stripes.
Yeah. Could explain his
Run
haircut.
over by a law. He's lying on the grass getting some sun, and the lawnmower went over.
That's how he gets his haircut.
Kill 2 birds with one stone, bro.
We're only kidding. We're only kidding.
But top player, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Last bit of notes here I have is Van Dijk, Luis Diaz, Szoboszlai all scored on international duty. We all know about the verbal agreement for Wirtz being reportedly done. You know what's weird too, or something I saw out there, and it's why, again, I'm hoping that they get this Manchester City thing done and rightly adjudicated. But Sky Sports said that their viewership was down 10% last year.
Yeah, because of the clientele they've got presenting. Melissa Reddy at Old Trafford, Carrington, and then you got all the YouTubers coming on doing all the football shows, transfer shows in the morning, bro. You're better at presenting than them guys. Tell you the truth. No, I'm being honest there. Flex and all these guys coming on there. I'm like, fucking hell. Like, come on, they don't suit Sky Sports, you know? It ain't like flowing type of show. For me, if you're media trained, there's a way you sort of get on with the show. And that's why probably their figures have gone down. Because I'll get bored of listening to that.
The other bit of news I had on my list of things to talk.
Dude. That's why their numbers have gone down, because it costs too much money. The cost of living in England has gone through the roof. Yeah. And people that are getting their wages cut are cutting at these things, and they're getting the IPTV.
You got to make cuts.
That's it's a luxury. That is like Sky Sports and TNT.
That's why mine went there. I've had it for over 20 years in this bloody flat. I've been here 25 years. I've had it over 20 years. And then the first time I was late with me bill, they cut me off after saying that they wouldn't. I spoke to 2 different women who said it won't happen. She said, just pay it next time more. And I said, okay, well. And no, they cut it off and cut my Wi-Fi off.
Right off.
Yeah, the bollocks to them. After 20 years, they said there was a diamond customer and all that shit. You know, when you phone them, they go, oh, you've been with us so long. There was such a diamond customer that you cut me off at the first sign of trouble. Thanks.
Quickly, my friends and family out there. I know that some people want to see us get a possible replacement. I know this name wasn't. I don't believe this name. I don't think I had this name as someone on our short list. I know he wasn't on our short list, but there is a name out there that was interestingly put as being all or nothing, with all or nothing price. He's a player that some people do like, some people don't really aspire to his talents. I'll start this one off front with Brian first on this one. 59 million pounds. Do you go in for Gyökeres?
No.
No. His agent. His agent has said. His agent says there's no discount deals. 59 million or nothing.
No, he's falling out with the club. He was going to go in January. He could have gone in January, and he said he would stay to fight for Sporting. But they had a kind of an agreement that he'd be allowed to move for a certain price, and the president came out yesterday or something and said that he's not moving for less than X amount of money, which is higher than apparently he'd agreed with Gyökeres and his agent. So it's not a happy camp there at the moment. He's going to go to Manchester United, I think. But no, I don't think he suits the way. I don't think he suits the way we play. I don't think a lot of what he does would translate. He would probably, if you played, like if you started a season and you put him in the team for 90 minutes every game, yeah, he will score goals. Of course he will, because he's a footballer on a pitch, he'll adapt, but I don't think he would do what he does in Portugal. It doesn't quite suit us really at all. And a lot of what he does is, it's kind of like Salah in overdrive, like the way Salah has like 70% of our shots, our goals, all that kind of stuff. Gyökeres is like that for Sporting. He takes like the volume that he takes is huge. So to have someone like him in our team with someone like Salah, he wouldn't get the same kind of opportunities. It would be, just a terrible, terrible fit. But then you look at him and go, how can you say someone that scores goals like that? But yeah, I wouldn't sit on the fence with him. I just don't think he would work in our team at all. I don't think he'd be very good in the Premier League when we're playing against teams that just are prepared to sit there and not attack us. He doesn't have that kind of ability to break those guys down.
Okay. Big up, Milante joining us. Big up.
Yeah, bless, bro.
How are you, brethren?
Good to see you, man.
God, man. Big up, guys, man. It's on the little shift, but got time. Always got time. Got my presence, Phil. Oh, come on, big up the
Take
chat. Big
your
up yourself.
time with it. Take your time with it.
I felt like
we were
beatboxing
just
there.
asking the question.
Yeah.
We were just asking the question. Apparently, 59 million or nothing for Gyökeres. Do you make that deal?
No.
Okay, plain and simple. All right.
Nada.
JK, how about for you?
Straight no for me, bro.
Straight no. Okay.
I didn't like the antics he pulled out with his club right now. Imagine he's banging 30 goals in for us 3 seasons in a row. Madrid come calling. He says he won't do the same to us. So that's not really good attitude to have for me. Not good to see.
Okay. The question is, KJ, and I'm asking this now to Lee, who's last to answer on the panel. 59 million, take it or leave it, for Gyökeres. Victor Gyökeres, the bane of the Portuguese league.
I don't think his style suits what you think Klopp might be attempting to do over the next season or two.
He's Slot,
yeah.
I think he said Klopp. Did you say Klopp?
No, I'm just saying. No, I said it. I don't think Gyökeres' style will fit what Slot's trying to do. This is, I don't know. He might do. He might want him. I just don't think he's looking for.
It's a decent. I mean, it's not a lot of money for a striker in this market, especially.
It isn't, I suppose.
I mean, and it's pretty much the going rate for most.
We haven't got many options, have we? I mean, if we could afford it, I'd be willing to take a chance. I'd go along. I'd put my hand up. If they ask who's in favour, I'd be putting my hand up. If we could afford it.
You know what I mean?
Then again, like I said, I'm not sure that his profile would be what Slot wants to be the spear as the tip of the team. But could be. Who knows? We don't know what Slot's thinking, do you?
I've seen him live a few times. I never think he's a Liverpool player. He will score goals. I can say that he's a goal scorer, man. For Coventry, Porto, and everyone, he's just like Sporting. He's a goal scorer, man. A machine. Depends on how you're going to play the guy.
Okay.
We could probably structure a deal as well, like with, was he paying them over a good long period of time with add-ons or something? Like, why not? Do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we ain't got many options, have we? Unless we go for Gonzalo Ramos, maybe.
Another quick question then. So Chelsea turned down the option to do the £25 million obligation to buy Sancho. They opted to pay the £5 million penalty, which ended up bringing Sancho back to Old Toilet. If we were to offer a cheeky bid of 20 million for Sancho, would you Would you approve that deal?
Okay.
Or for us to make it? Would you approve us to make that deal?
Never in a million years. Never.
No?
Sancho's gone, bro.
All
He's like his game is done. Ciao.
All right.
He ain't
all
doing
right.
nothing. If a team is
Um,
willing to pay 5 million, fine. Not a fine, but 5 million fee not to have him, that tells you everything, man.
okay.
I think the United to Dortmund to United move was too big for him, and we don't know what sort of attitude he's got. And United ain't a great club to go to, in my opinion, if you want to have a good career. Under Ferguson, yeah, 100% go. But now, you don't go to Man United to have a good football career. You go to get paid well. And I think he did that. He's on probably a top whack. And it's too much for him. Big, all that pressure playing for United, big wage, and he thought, well, it's gone downhill for him. Not even on a free, exactly, Dara. Never.
Not even on the free, huh? All
Not
right.
even on a free.
Lee, how about for you?
No, I wouldn't want him. No.
Not even for 20 million? Jeez.
Man,
This is a
bro.
player that came out of Dortmund. People were like 100 million. What?
He should pay us 20 million to pay for us.
Oh, wow. Wow.
No, man, he's terrible, bro. He's lost. He will never be a good player no more, ever again. 100% concrete on that.
Okay. Brian, are you
Agreed.
You agree with the panel?
Yeah, no, let him go and rebuild his career somewhere else. And obviously, whatever is happening, like it's again with anybody like him. Whenever a big club buys him and it doesn't quite work out, and they might be trying to force him out a little bit. All of a sudden, you start hearing these stories about how he's a bad attitude, bad this. So I tend to mistrust clubs when that starts to happen because they tend to like to throw these kids under the bus by leaking a few stories. Has anybody ever met a 20-year-old kid or 22-year-old kid that didn't act up a little bit every now and again? We're just kids, That's all they are, young men. So I don't expect them all to be angels all the time. But anybody that went to that club at that time, there's mitigation for not performing because that club is a dumpster fire, a total car crash. Didn't go brilliantly at Chelsea, no, but he's also on really big wages. So yeah, back to Dortmund, that was mooted, that wouldn't work. But no, I feel sorry for him a little bit. What's happened to him because he's been hung out to dry.
Leipzig then? Do you think Leipzig or one of the other ones? Like
He'll still go clubs.
Yeah, I don't know where he goes. I don't know where someone like him goes.
I have a couple of quick fire. We have like five minutes left of the show here. So I'll ask each one of you one big question. Okay. And I'm only ask one of you. The question will only be your question, only yours to answer. All right. I'll ask you this. So João Felix is reportedly his number 14 shirt is apparently being recommissioned to go to the Chelsea new arrival, Dario Asugo. And Sterling is up for sale after spending last season on loan with Arsenal. João Felix, you said no. Everyone pretty much was no on Gorkez. I'll spell out for you. By the way, I guess someone's asking me how to spell it.
No, that's the other guy. That's Willian Esteban Willian. That's one of the other guys they signed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
this is
KJ's the winger.
This is
Esteban Willian is they're two different players. There's Eswego and there's Esteban. There's two different players. Esteban is the guy Willian. Esteban Willian, the winger that all think is going to be next Ronaldinho.
And what I was going to ask is this: João Felix. Would he be a player that you, Nolante, be interested in?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Okay. Easy enough answer. All right. None of you guys know the Nippon player though. Nippon player, right? He's a player, 18-year-old Norwegian. Has played 70 times for Rosenborg.
Rosenborg, yeah.
He's being looked at by Arsenal, Villa, now apparently Manchester City, shocker, are apparently at the top of the queue, looking to possibly acquire this player. Whatever the number is reported that he'll be a record fee for the Norwegian league. This player is like highly coveted, apparently. Brian, I know you said you don't know the player. Lee, you don't know the player. JK doesn't know the player. Nolante, do you know who this player is? Have you heard of him? You said.
I've heard of him. I haven't seen him play, but I've heard of him. I know that Villa were close to buying him last season, I think January, but I think their financial, see him coming. But yeah, again, I haven't seen him play, or I've just heard the reports, attacking midfielder, similar to Odegaard, but more attacking. But I've heard some, obviously he's the next, best thing, next big thing, so to speak. So we'll see.
18 years old. Yep.
Yeah.
Plays center. He's a midfielder.
Yeah. / attacking midfield. Yeah.
Okay.
He's like an Odegaard.
Apparently, Arsenal want to keep Thomas Partey, but the Arsenal midfielder has been kind of uncertain about his future at Arsenal. I'm going to ask this to Brian. Is Partey integral in Arsenal success next year?
Oh, I don't know. They like him. They all say he's better than. They all say he doesn't get the credit, so he probably does a good job for them. Yeah, I think they can lose. They're losing Jorginho this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Partey allows Rice to play the way he plays.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's probably he's definitely not someone they would want to lose. He kind of holds their team together a little bit at the back. His deal is up this season, and so they're trying to get him to sign up on a new one. But he might have a very lucrative offer come from somewhere else, and if they do lose him and they lose Jorginho, I don't think that will put even more pressure on. They are, but I know it's all a bit of a joke, but by all accounts, they will be signing Zubimendi. So they'll still have him, but I think Partey can play right back, number 8.
Okay.
Yeah, will be a blow to lose him for them. Yeah, definitely.
I know that's
money could talk with that one on a free transfer.
It could.
Saudi Arabia.
I know that's Delante's Ghanaian brethren, but okay. But he already gave him a question. I said I'd give one to each of you. I'm going to give this one to Lee. Scott Parker has emerged as the new contender to replace Thomas Frank that we spoke on earlier at Brentford. Is this the right move for Brentford?
Given his record now, I'd be looking somewhere else if I was Brentford. No. He got the sack after we beat Bournemouth. Was it 9-0 at Anfield?
Mm-hmm.
Has he been? What else has he done since then? Since he got the sack from Bournemouth?
To be honest with you, I have not been following Scott Parker.
Just assume he was on the beach.
He got Burnley promoted, Lee.
Yeah, he got Burnley
He's got
promoted.
them promoted just
Oh,
recently.
right. I didn't even
right.
know. Sorry, guys. I didn't even know. Okay. No, Brentford could do better than that, I think. Could do better than them.
So no, okay. I was just wondering if that was something that you thought was on your thing. And last but not least, JK. We just spoke about how Xerxes is headed to Naples. It looks like KDB. Was that?
Xerxes from Man United.
Yeah.
He's gone to Napoli, has he?
Yep.
No, he hasn't.
That's it.
He's been linked.
He's been linked.
Oh.
He's been linked to go
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think that didn't last long for him. Okay.
Yeah. The Red Devils are considering proposing a swap bid for Xerxes and getting in return K-Max Pride and Joy, Victor Osimhen. This is being reported by La Gazzetta dello Sport. Do you think that this is a good deal for Manchester United?
Well,
Does this bring them out? Does this answer their search for a striker? Would he be the answer to their search for a striker? Or would he just amount to the same garbage
what it is when you
that
look
they
at him,
end up shelling out? For
what's he
everyone?
won? What's this guy like? He's talking about 400 grand a week.
Say again?
Like this Osimhen guy.
Mhm.
What has he ever won, really? Has he been top scorer in competitions? Has he been like winning 3 Champions Leagues, league titles? You know what I mean? Top scorer. He can score goals, but for me, the hype around this guy is not worth 400 grand a week.
Mhm.
And Zerki's a donkey as well.
Mhm.
You know, come on, man. How are these guys turn professional? Some of them. Zerki, I think he can play football, but he never did it at United. United wasting money again, bro. So if they want to do that, it's up to them. But Osimhen, for me, nah, not for me, man.
All right. Well, those are all the questions. I could, I guess, bring up. Considering I just saw Bernardo Silva got a mural put up of him in. Apparently, he got a mural put up of him in Manchester, but he's apparently on the short list for Al Hilal because this is his final year. I could bring him up, but then again, we don't want to talk about vermin. We would prefer to end on a good note and definitely allow for the panel to give anything that they have coming up for any of their shows or anything they'd like to say to the chat as we come to a close here. So I'll start with Lee and then go to Brian, JK, and then Ed Monte. Lee, what would you like to say to the people?
Yeah, just thanks everyone. Thanks for your contributions and see you again. Hopefully we'll have the players signed soon.
Yeah, okay. Holding a shirt, basically, yeah. Brian, you have anything coming up on your show tomorrow or this week?
Oh, yeah, every day. There'll always be something. There'll be something every day. Yeah. I don't know what tomorrow's going to be. But yeah, he has been top goal scorer in the Super League, top goal scorer in Serie A. He has won Serie A. He's won the Under-17 World Cup. He's one-time African Footballer of the Year. Victor Osimhen. So 5 times he's been a top goal scorer. Once in Italy, once in Turkey. African Player of the Year, and he's won Serie A. They'd be lucky to have him, JK. I know you might not be his biggest fan, but Man United would be lucky to have a player of his quality. And I would not like to see them get him. He would do damage, especially only playing once a week with Bruno Fernandes behind him and Cunha. Yeah, I think he'd be very good. I don't want to see them get him.
Okay. JK, you're up next.
Yeah, I was talking to K-Man then.
No, you just said, has he ever been top goal scorer? He has twice. He's won Serie A.
No, but you know, like when you just know a player, it could be a good one for you. He ain't that guy for me.
I think he'd be good for them. That's the problem. I think he'd score goals for them. I don't want someone who's going to score goals for them. I think Gyökeres would score goals for them. I think Oshman would score goals for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll all, yeah.
I hope that they don't get him.
So obviously,
just keep Hoyland.
On before Xerxes.
They got Cunha, man, already. You know what I mean? So
yeah, they're trying to get rid of the lad Hoyland, you see. And if they can get rid of him, they won't bring in a striker until they get rid of Hoyland. Yeah, they won't bring like an Osman or Gyökeres until they get rid of Hoyland.
They don't
have the money to do
that. Is that something like where you get some money? Like if you get rid of players that just played poorly for you to the level that they did, is that you trying to just sell the fact that you're getting a Manchester United player, or is that you just trying to sell it at whatever price you can get rid of them at? Because that's just like
he's failed, man. They just got to get out of Dodge with him. Talk about Napoli going for him. Talk about Inter going for him.
Mm-hmm.
He costs nearly 65 million quid. He costs an awful lot of money. So yeah,
him
they're
is
going to try
100 million. Crazy.
I'd never heard of Xerxes before he went.
No,
there.
I heard of him. I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, I knew nothing, and all of a sudden he's a striker for Man
United.
That used to be the way.
Yeah.
That used to be the way. If they were buying a striker, everybody knew who he was. He was a top player. So
saying, bro, if your agent sort of diverts you towards United's direction, you need to get rid of your agent. You know
he doesn't have much of a chance, has he, in the worst season ever, and that's for a very long time, if they've ever had a worse one. He's not had much of a chance to excel. Yeah. He hasn't had a lot of a chance. I mean, he's scored some goals, hasn't he? He's got a couple of finishes and that.
A few, yeah. He's been up and down, to be fair.
Yeah. He's
only at the end.
In the door, isn't he? He's quite fresh in the door. He's only been here this season. As I said, it is like their worst season in ages, so couldn't expect too much from him. But they're going to have new players around him, aren't they, next season? So maybe that'll be bad. Hoyland, I don't see where he fits now with Cunha there and Bueno there as well. Just there won't be any room for him, will there? Paid a pretty penny for him, didn't he? Hoyland, something like, was it 65 or something?
70.
70. That's
crazy. See, no one says nothing about him. Always on about Darwin and that.
Wasn't his resume was scoring like a handful of goals in Italy or something after going there?
Yeah, he's still young. Yeah, probably about single-digit goals. But hey, there you go, mate. Erik ten Hag. All praise to Erik ten Hag.
Like, how are Leverkusen going for him? That's another madness. Come on. Actually, you know what?
Successful there, like in terms of helping cushion the blow of Xabi leaving, but he had no success here, did he? Apart from the FA Cup. His job for a short time.
Rijkaard was a decent second striker for the Dutch team. Yeah, he did well.
This is Anfield.
He did come in and scored that late goal. It was in the Euros, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the that, and then even the World Cup against against Argentina. He bagged two when you were 2-0 down for extra time. Yeah. He's all right. He's all right.
Just Anfield. This is Anfield picture when he played against Liverpool. He touched it, man. Yeah.
At high, said yeah.
God's all views.
Sorted.
Rodrigo was telling us, big up Rodrigo. New name to the chat. Luis Fernando Diaz, Mr. Lucho to us. He was on fire in Argentina. He scored an incredible goal for the Colombian team last night. What an amazing player he is. Make sure that everyone sees that then. I really hope he stays at Liverpool for many years. That is not my burner account, by the way. That is not my burner account.
What? It came up in me, Steve.
Rodrigo Canceles. Rodrigo Canceles.
What a name to use, man.
What a great play, 12. I have to commend it to you.
Yeah, I swear that's not my burner account.
Commend it.
Right? Yeah, Rodrigo, if you can type something right now to bail me out, that'd be great.
He's your homie, man. He's your boy. He's your friend.
I think 12. That's 12's a close boy. I recognize that name.
I'm right there with you, Rodrigo. I'm definitely right there with you.
Can he play right
Green
wing?
Max.
Can he play right wing?
Yeah.
Forget the Real Madrid one.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm not gonna get bailed up by Rodrigo, but it's all good. It's all good. Welcome to the chat and welcome to the channel. Still all the same. Nolante, anything you'd like to say? Yeah, anything coming up on the docket for you?
Bucket list. I think me, JK, we've got something up this week. I'll speak to JK about it. Probably going to do a recorded show on LFRC, Liverpool Reds Forever. Go check that out. Me, JK, and the man they called Fazwado, Rodriguez, da Souza, da Silva.
Okay. I understood about three words out of that whole sentence, but okay.
Thanks, Phil.
Stick on us.
Exactly. And I will end the show with this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children around the ages. Thank you very much for another edition of Most of the Hosts, the man with the flying pan, the man in Arizona, catch if you can, Liverpool 12th man host, and with the Antwerp Irishman, always here for debates, always here for knowledge, always here with the F-bombs, Mr. Brian Antwerp Irishman, and you got the man in Liverpool. Don't go to K-Mac. Don't go to Lady B. He's the man with the latest news, give you the latest updates. That's Lee. He just doesn't pick up his phone. But I don't know why, but he doesn't pick up his phone. We're trying to call him, but that's fine. And the last but not least, we go to JK, the man, the German correspondent. Einsteins Bier und Fight und Bier und Fight und Stuns und Bier und ich Bier.
I'm not even German.
JK, yeah? JK, the German correspondent. And ladies and gentlemen, I will just leave you with a few thoughts, few prayers. Stay safe, everyone. Please take care of your families. I leave you from our famous ex-manager, Jurgen. Oh, no, but Pep left. No, but he's not a champion. We are champions. Liverpool, Premier League champions. Auf Wiedersehen. Good night to you all. Good night. God bless. God bless. Thank you.
Wicked. Is 12 man frozen or you can't believe what you just saw?
He's frozen. Yes.
Brian, end the show. End the stream. Oh my god. Oh god.
I thought 12 man was playing the boss man, you know. It's like, who the fuck is that?
Indeed came back digging deep. Indeed came back. Remember that's a classic as well. Shout out to K-Back for that classic life, but yeah. Brian.
I can if you want.
Yeah, 12's good. It's fine.
But Rodrigo, I just wanted to say to Rodrigo, Diaz is for me the best ball retainer in the whole Premier League. Trying to get the ball off him is like too hard. He's the
I
best
want to
guy
see
in
his
Premier
goal.
League.
It came up in my feed on YouTube last night, but that attention got diverted and I must have watched something else and forgot about it. But it was apparently a very nice goal. There's pictures of him celebrating it in the thumbnail. I'll have to go and have a look at that later. Apparently it was a nice strike. Good to hear anyway. Good that he got on the score sheet in a big game.
Yeah, he did a nice little trick in the game as well. DePaul was trying to tackle him and he did this little flick. It's funny, but
Yeah, he balled that.
hit us.
All right, there you go. For some reason, yeah, Jurgen's laugh knocked out my internet for a second there. But all right.
Wicked.
Yeah, all of a sudden the internet dropped out. I heard, ha, ha, ha. And then it just went, it just went straight down. Oh, man. But all right, friends and family out there. Definitely rivals and foes included. Thank you for a good show today. Thank you to the panel. Thank you to Nalante joining us. Thank you to Lady B that was with us earlier. Thank you to JK, the Irishman, Lee. Big up to everyone out there in the chat as well. We're going to return to you tomorrow. We actually have a cool show. I'm going to try to see if I can put together something with the crew here to get a real compact list of players. But we're going to do a show that is going to be about players that have left Liverpool and gone on to other endeavors, in the sense of going on to other teams, what they've done with those other teams. Have they gotten glory, or have they ended up looking like skunks in a trunk, I guess, or something like that. So we are going to do that tomorrow. But for today, we thank you all, and we will see you tomorrow. Big up to each and every one of you. Up the Reds each and every time, and we will see you again shortly and soon. Take care,
Diaz
guys.
is better than Jones at ball retention.
Okay, and there you have it. Bye-bye.